is, quite honest, a political and more so a constitutional delinquent.
The City of Johannesburg Speaker of Council in South Africa's Gauteng province, Margaret Arnolds, has called for the harshest possible punishment for Tiffany Nicole Meek, the mother of 11-year-old Jaden Lee Meek. Meek made her first court appearance at the Rooipoort Magistrates Court for the murder of her son. She's facing charges of murder, defeating the ends of justice, and crime and injuria. She is set to appear on Friday for her bail application. Arnolds called on the community to remain calm.
We need this case not to drag long. We need this case to be done very quickly because we now have a perpetrator and she needs to bring out who else was with her. Because I don't think she could have done it alone. But as a community and as a country and as a city, we want to ask, if our kids are not safe with us, who are they safe with? I'd ask the community, let us allow the justice system to take its toll, and we need to have the harshest punishment that there is.
A court in the UK has ruled that a newborn baby allegedly trafficked from Nigeria last year will now be adopted in Britain. The practice of baby farming is well known in West Africa. Nigerian authorities have shut down at least 200 illegal baby factories in the last 5 years. Some contained young girls who'd been kidnapped, raped and forced to give birth repeatedly. The BBC's Sanchia Berg has the story.
On the 6th of July last year, police arrested a Nigerian woman on suspicion of trafficking as she arrived at Gatwick Airport with a baby girl after a month in her home country. The woman lives in the UK with her family. She had told English doctors she was pregnant, but scans and tests before her trip showed that wasn't true. She presented Lee's family court with photos and videos that she said proved she'd given birth. The judge found those had been faked. Phone messages suggested she had bought the baby. The little girl was taken into foster care on arrival in Britain, and a judge has decided she will now be adopted here.
For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tudongwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that on air. We're not going to do that on air today.
But you're usually the chief whip here. I'm just the backing vocalist. What's going on today?
You know what?
You've changed your mind.
There are moments when we require silence. Just to breathe. The day gets very long. We get lost in business, corporate. Sometimes you just need a little breather. That's what that was.
A moment of silence.
Just a moment of silence.
Because it's going to be such an epic show that we need to...
100%. Good afternoon and welcome to The Upside on Channel Africa, the African perspective. Happy Monday from our studio to your hearts, to your homes, to your offices. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon with me, Tebohole Kuleni, and the incredible Matseko Mosito. We are live on our social media platforms. Join us on social media at Channel Africa on Facebook, on YouTube. I see that we are also live on TikTok as well.
Wow.
At Channel Africa 1. And we're coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. If you have DSTV 802, OpenView Channel 628. Good afternoon to you, ma'am. How are you doing on this gloriously wonderful Monday?
Listen, for some strange reason, Mondays are not usually my day, but I actually feel incredibly optimistic about this Monday. It's an incredible feeling, I must say. But yes, happy Monday to you. Thank you very much for tuning in and for joining us. We're wearing all black.
Yes.
Feel free to let us know what you're wearing. How was your day and your weekend?
Oh, fantastic weekend. I'll let you in on it during what caught your eye. Quite a few things happened this weekend. Excited to be sharing it with the whole African continent and in the diaspora as well. But here's what's coming up on the show this afternoon. Scams among international students is on the rise. Fraudsters posing as institutions, accredited institutions, agents, promising to give the kids admission and scholarship. They are on the rise, and we want to warn parents what to look out for before they apply to any of these dodgy, shall we call, scams online. And then we also talk property. Is it better to pay an installment for a property if you don't qualify for a bond, or would you rather go for the bond route? I don't know. I was having a chat with Lulu and she says installment sounds much better. And then later we chat to Boiti Tulo. Boiti. She is a media personality and an entrepreneur. It's going to be an exciting conversation. That's all coming up on The Upside this afternoon. It's 10 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to The Upside.
Annika Longi sur Channel Africa.
Nous allons à présent dérouler notre tapis rouge pour accueillir notre personnalité du jour, l'artiste chanteur skillfully qui est en ligne de Guinée avec nous.
Je suis un artiste guinéen, un créateur, un styliste et je fais un peu ce qui plaît à mes fans. Voilà, c'est un peu ça, on a beaucoup de genres de trucs à faire, mais bon, pour le moment, on est basé un peu sur le rap.
D'accord. À quelle période de votre vie avez-vous commencé à vous intéresser à la musique, Sheki?
Bon, je crois pas qu'il y ait une période, parce que moi, je suis un mélomane depuis mon petit âge.
Annika Longi, tous les dimanches sur Mix Vibration.
The Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time. With Tebohole Kuleni and Matseko Mosito. Only on Channel Africa, the African perspective. For business, for culture, for Africa. Partner with Channel Africa because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa. Partner with Channel Africa because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices. English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift.
On the upside, on Channel Africa, the African Perspective, that song by Ashake, Skating. We are skating. You know, that's one of the things that I've never been able to conquer. As someone who enjoys, you know, physical activity, and I'm very, into sport, skating, I've struggled with that for the longest time. Ice skating, wow. I apologize for that. I apologize. I'm sorry. You know what?
I think it's my headphones that are problematic.
Yeah, also mine. So I wasn't able to conquer skating. Ice skating, I struggled, can't find balance. And then the rollerblading.
Not laughing, yes?
Yes, you are. The rollerblading thing. Oh my goodness me. I have got there so many times and I still can't figure it out. I need to go for lessons, proper lessons.
No, you do. Don't deny yourself experiences. One thing I want to start doing, well, I've been convinced to, cycling. I'm going to start cycling.
You don't know how to cycle?
No, but like as in like a real cyclist type of thing.
Like
you can ride a bike, but
Okay, not mountain biking, like just long, like
no, like
Tour de France.
Like mountain biking.
Oh, mountain
stuff.
biking.
Yeah, actually, that's the term, mountain biking. So we're going to try that. Listen, there's no better time than now to try new things.
Yeah.
To explore, because listen, you only have this one life. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. There are plenty of places that I can recommend where you can go and learn how to cycle in a safe environment and then build up to be able to handle mountains and different terrains.
I love it for me.
But let me know when you are ready to do that. All right. Our guest is on the line? Oh, not yet. Our first conversation is going to be about, and it's something that I haven't really thought about. You often hear the phrase, if it sounds too good to be true, it often is.
Probably is.
But I didn't realize it can also apply to students seeking international study opportunities, that they can also be targeted. And also because I've never really applied for international studying myself, so I didn't really look into that. But it's so shocking that it's on the rise, that scammers and fraudsters are targeting these students who are trying to seek opportunities abroad. And now making it seem as though posing as credible institutions, I'm going to give you scholarship, I'm going to give you this. But what you need to do is you must pay upfront this amount of money at in this period of time. And I'm like, wow. Is there any space where we are safe as human beings when the students are also being targeted?
I think, you just said the word. Anything that presents opportunity is free game for scammers. So I think you've got to be unfortunately extra paranoid, extra careful, triple, quadruple check each time until people call you crazy. But you're like, I'm not going to take chances with my hard-earned dollars. To play this game. So 100%, I think anything to do with work opportunity, study opportunity, it is a big playing field for those kinds of things to occur.
I got scammed recently.
What happened? Oh,
I'll tell you about it.
Me.
And it's so recent, like last week.
Don't
I'll
stress
tell
me,
you. I'll
please.
tell you all about it later on. Now, for many young Africans, studying abroad is more than just a goal. It's a life-changing dream. But behind the glossy brochures and fast-track promises lies a growing underworld of deception. Fake agents, bogus universities, and too good to be true scholarships are scamming students out of their savings and their future. Today on The Upside, we expose the tactics used by fraudsters and arm you with the truth. Joining us is Tumi Nkosi, spokesperson for IIE Rosebank College, here to share real-world advice on how to spot red flags, protect your future, and make smart, informed choices before you apply, pay, or sign anything. Tumi, thank you so much for your time and welcome to The Upside.
Good afternoon, Mateko and Tebogo. Thank you so much for having me, and good afternoon to your viewers.
I didn't know that students are also being targeted when it comes to scams. We've heard property scams, accommodation scams. Tell us about this one. This is rather sad, isn't it?
It is incredibly heartbreaking, especially if you look at the type of typical cohort of populations that would fall for these scams. So to answer your question, nothing is safe anymore. I was listening into your conversation before I joined. Where there's even 1 cent that is available for the taking, therein you will find a scammer. So what we are seeing an increase in is these study abroad scams. And these are really driven by opportunity, which is a good thing, and opportunism, if there is such a word, where people find an opportunity to find a pool of desperate people looking for opportunities and they take advantage. Unfortunately, we have seen that the people or the cohort of population that has most likely fallen for such scams are people in rural areas, for simple reasons that they don't always have access to information. I mean, it's not easy for somebody that lives in a rural area to take one taxi to an embassy in Pretoria to find out information or get information. So the heartbreaking part is that the most vulnerable members of our society are the ones that are falling prey to these scams. And don't feel bad at all, Debogo, because I will also tell you about my story about how I almost fell for a similar scam. But yes, it is happening. It is growing, driven by opportunity, and people want to take money from those that are unsuspecting.
It's 20 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. We'll continue the conversation with Tumi so that we can protect ourselves online and our children. Don't go anywhere.
Zochitika ndimadaphiri kamlondola wazochitika pena paliponse
unduna wazamalonda kumalawi waletsa kampani yopanga shuga ya Ilovo yomwe ndi nthambi ya Ilovo Sugar Group Limited kuti isiye kutumiza shuga kumaiko akunja. Malingana ndi nduna ya zamalonda Vitumbuko Mumba, izi zithandiza kuti shuga yemwe yakusowa pamsika azipezeka. Ndiye pano ndili ndi George Muhangu amene ali mu mzinda wa Blantyre mu dziko la Malawi. Chimene chikupangitsa kuti shuga azisowa ndi chani?
Chomwe chikupangitsa kuti shuga azisowa ndichonena kuti panopo ili ngati off season ya makampani a Ilovo Sugar Malawi, kunena kuti sakutha kupanga shugayi okwanira chifukwa akukolola. Ndiye akamaliza kukolola pameneno atayambeno sopano kugaya shugayi kuti azipezeka. Chinanso ndichonena kuti ma distributors amene akumakagula shuga kaya ndi ku Ilovo kaya ndi kusalima shuga akumagulisa kumaiko akunja ngati Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Mozambique.
Zochitika ndimadaphiri lolemba mpaka lachisanu pa nthawi ya 7 koloko kufikira 8 koloko madzulo pa Channel Africa.
The Upside. On The Upside, your voice matters.
22 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Studying abroad. Maybe you are excited to go study abroad, but then you realize that what you just signed, this application, and the money that you sent for the admission has gone to a scammer, a fraudster. These are on the rise for students. What do we need to look out for? We are joined on the line by Tumi Nkosi, spokesperson for IIE Rosebank College, to share some real-world tips, red flags that we need to look out for. And Matseko, you were laughing at me earlier because I got scammed. But these are
no, I
things.
didn't laugh. I think it's a sad thing.
A very sad thing.
Yeah. Back to our conversation on really how to identify scams. And I think it's really just an education thing.
Yeah.
You know, access to information about what is legit and what is not. To me, let's talk about, I mean, there's this word that's floating around on social media now called learn more. when you click on that learn more button, it could take you to places that are really just incredibly dangerous, because I've seen a lot of institutions that are not necessarily, deemed certified. We don't know if they're legit or they're not. There's one in Dubai, there's one in Sri Lanka, there's one in wherever. I'm just mentioning different places as an example. So when you see these scams, particularly online, it's very easy to get sucked in. And I think in the age of artificial intelligence, where people use credible personalities, and then they use this AI and they put this learn more button, and then you click on the learn more, you pay a certain amount of dollars and you get an opportunity. So what would you say in terms of young people being able to kind of identify the red flags? What should we look for as students and parents when we are presented with such scholarship opportunities, as it were, online?
Absolutely. So I think, Mateko, you've touched on a couple of ways and things that you should be looking out for. But first, let's start with how these scams typically present themselves. So there's some that are more popular than others. So by my own assessment of which are most popular and which are not, we'll start with university impersonations, where you would have, recruiters from what would appear to be a well-known university internationally approaching you, and then you would think that it is that particular university. There would be links in the email that you can click on. And let's be honest, when we click on a link, nobody ever goes to the top of the web browser to see if what you have clicked is indeed what you were hoping to get as a destination. So the first one would be university impersonations. The second one, when you talk about learn more, that is what we would call program impersonation. And what that would do is that, because we don't know what the lay of the land in the United States or in Europe looks like, you would think that, if a particular program advertisement has got particular business people, in the case with MBAs, that you know about and you want to teach you in an MBA classroom, then you are likely to follow that. So program impersonation, people from outside of the country offering popular programs, usually your computer science programs as well as your MBA programs. That is where I nearly fell for the scam. I'll tell you more about that. And you also get your typical ones, fake funding or scholarship offers that are too good to be true, fake accommodation offers, which would typically be directed at people that have received a legitimate offer and now are looking for accommodation. Too good to be true admission policies. I mean, if you know that an MBA from one of those top business schools requires really high amounts of effort to get in, when something comes in is too good to be true, usually using the language that they're having preferential admission policies for people of color or students from Africa, that type of language would be used. And then last but not least would be visa or immigration scams, where you would come into a country on a legitimate offer, and then all of a sudden you've got a supposed immigration officer telling you there's something wrong with your visa and that you must pay urgently. But at the heart of it, all of them are too good to be true. And usually, if you trust your gut, you will be able to pick it up quite early. But it's difficult to trust your gut when you are desperate to learn more, as you have said, and further your studies so that you can have a better quality of life.
Hey, learn more, I'm telling you.
Learn more. See, now I must run away from such things. Tumi, let's talk about not just the impact that it would have on the institution who's making these bogus claims. And in fact, maybe we'll drag the conversation onto the next half an hour as well, just to expand on it. How do we then go about identifying that this institution is real or not, where I just got this information from? Is there a way to verify? Do I need to call this institution myself and say, I received a call or an email from one of your representatives, I want to confirm if it is indeed from you?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a brilliant first step as to confirming whether that university exists or not. But you must be careful, because sometimes you get an email with what looks like legitimate telephone numbers. Do not act on information that you would get on that particular email. The best thing to do would be to go and do a Google search for that particular university and then contact them through that way. Another brilliant way is to determine where this university is located. And then if, for example, is located in the United States, then call the United States Embassy in South Africa to verify that information. So those would be two ways that I would suggest that you can verify the legitimacy of an institution. A third and really, really good way, another way that you can do it is to go to our Department of Higher Education and Training. If they're not able to confirm the validity or the genuineness of that particular institution, they would be able to refer you to the right people who would be able to check for you and confirm whether that particular university, college, or institution is accredited, most importantly, have accredited qualifications, and is a legitimate institution.
She is spokesman for Rosebank College that is here in South Africa. So, Tumi, from the perspective of Rosebank College, talk to us about how we can safeguard, or let me ask it this way: what safeguards should a credible institution or agent offer those prospective students, as it were, when it comes to assuring transparency and legitimacy?
So first of all, it's very important to realize that we have excess demand in South Africa. So it's highly unlikely that you would get a university that you have not applied to directly offering you a scholarship, unless you're one of those top 3 matriculants and you were with the minister given an award, then perhaps maybe that might be the case. But it's very rare that you would get an offer directly into your inbox that you have not applied for. So over and above you having to trust your instinct, I would say the first thing that you should be careful of is just unsolicited offers for places at a university. That's the first thing that I would look out for. That's the first red flag. The second red flag would be a sense of urgency in this particular email, where you are being told that we've offered you an opportunity or a placement in a particular program, and you need to pay a facilitation fee or a registration fee, but you need to do it very quickly, usually in less than 24 hours, or else you would lose your space. So if there's a sense of urgency laced with threats, elements of threats, then do not make any move. Just know that there's something wrong with that particular offer. And third, and most importantly, if, as I have mentioned, if you feel uncomfortable, you are being threatened, you are being pressured, if you feel like you have to action this particular offer, then take a step back, because it's social engineering, right? The way that they word these emails and the offer that they place on the table is designed to isolate you so that you don't go seeking information to verify that it's not the right offer for you, or there's something wrong with it, and also to get you to act as quick as possible. So if it's too good to be true, there's a sense of agency and there's a threat for you to move as quickly as possible, take a step back, because there's definitely something fishy with that offer.
Tumi, we'll continue the conversation after we get our sports and business news, so you can share your almost scammed story, and also what else we can do to protect ourselves. It's 31 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Good afternoon, guys. We begin with athletics. Noah Lyles beat Olympic champion Litsile Tebogo in the men's 200 meter at the Diamond League meet in Monaco. Botswana's Tebogo won the Olympic 200 meter final last year, with it emerging after the race that Lyles, who came third, had tested positive for COVID. Tebogo went into the race in Monaco having set a world-leading time of 19.76 seconds when he won the 200 meter at the last Diamond League meeting in Eugene on the 5th of July. Olympic 100 meter champion Lyles had not raced since a 400 meter run in April, and had last competed over 200 meters 338 days previously. Sweden's Armando Duplantis won the men's pole vault with a 6.05 meter, but missed out in his attempt at adding a centimeter to the world record height of 6.28 meters. While Emmanuel Wanyonyi of Kenya set a world-leading 1 minute 41.44 seconds in the men's 800 meters. Dutch woman Femke Bol impressed in the 400 meters hurdles with a well-reading 51.95 seconds as she beat Americans Delilah Mohammed, who was second in 52.58 seconds, and third place Anna Cockrell, 52.91 seconds. The next Diamond League event will take place in the UK for a sold-out London athletics meet on the 19th of July. The finals will take place in Zurich on the 27th and the 28th of August, just over a fortnight before the start of the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan. On to rugby news. The South African rugby team, the Springboks, proved yet again that they are the most dynamic team in the world rugby after they beat Italy 45-0 in Gqeberha in the second match of the incoming series. Rassie Erasmus-inspired innovation was on display as the Boks pushed the boundaries of the game. They were reduced to 14 men for the quarter of the encounter, but were still able to keep Italy scoreless. Not for the first time, the Springbok under Rassie Erasmus shocked the rugby world. It was Springbok innovation as its finest, and it will not only have amazed the thousands in attendance, but also caused the rest of the world rugby to sit up and take notice. Bok captain Salman Murad says it is a performance to be proud of.
It was really amazing to come out to PE and put up a performance like that. I think we can be really pleased for large parts of that game. Obviously, a lot of things to work on, but I thought the team showed real character with a man down.
The Springboks will then move on to Mbombela in South Africa's Mpumalanga province to face Georgia, who are a forward-dominant outfit, just the Boks cup of tea. Former Bok prop Lawrence Sipaka says this might be the perfect time to fully rotate the vast Springbok squad ahead of the Rugby Championship.
He's got a big squad. So maybe to have a look completely before the championship starts what he's got, probably needs to give the other guys who hasn't looked at the chance against Georgia and see what they do. I mean, some of the guys who came on today can have an opportunity to start.
For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Figile Ngwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Are you fluent in French, Chinyanja, Portuguese, and Kiswahili? Are you passionate about radio? And are you looking to work in South Africa? Do you have papers that qualify you to work in South Africa? In that case, we might have an opportunity for you to work for Channel Africa. Send us your CV and demo at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Remember, if you don't hear from us within 14 days, it means you have not made it or you have not been selected. Channel Africa, the African Perspective. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
36 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Let's say good afternoon and welcome to Chanduko Ligege for business news.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Deboho. Good afternoon. A new Oxfam report has shed light on the alarming levels of wealth inequality in Africa. According to the findings, just 4 of the continent's richest billionaires now hold more wealth than half of Africa's population. That's around 750 million people. The report, titled Africa's Inequality Crisis and the Rise of the Super Rich, was released last week. Accountable Government lead for Oxfam in Africa, Kwesi Obenj, says this inequality is prevalent across the continent.
Africa's tax systems is 3 times less effective at redistributing wealth or income. What that means is that you have many more of the poor having to shoulder the burden. And just to simply put, what it means is that the poorest in Africa are actually funding public services. Now, that cannot happen, that should not be happening, because what it is that we've seen the wealth of a very tiny population, less than 15,000, having seen their wealth so expand.
South Africa's two houses of parliament will continue to debate several budget votes this week. Budget votes are part of parliament's processes and give the public insight into departments' performance and spending priorities for the financial year. The presidency, the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces will debate their budget. Parliamentary spokesperson Muloto Mutapo.
The Speaker of the National Assembly and the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces will each present Parliament budget vote in their respective houses. This vote details funding allocations that support Parliament's core functions. The budget vote gives the public insight into how Parliament prioritizes its work and allocates resources in alignment with its constitutional functions. That includes oversight over government, the legislative processes, public participation, and international cooperation.
Over 250 delegates are expected to attend the second technical meeting for the G20 Environment and Climate Sustainability Working Group set to begin at the Kruger National Park in South Africa's Mpumalanga province today. The gathering, hosted by the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, will run until Friday. The meeting aims to build on the progress made during the first virtual gathering that took place in March. Forestry, Fisheries and Environment Minister Dr. Dion George says the goal is to ensure the country upholds its commitments to themes of solidarity, equality and sustainability.
This meeting will focus on technical aspects specifically related to climate finance, biodiversity conservation, pollution management and ocean governance. South Africa is a very sensible member of the international community and will ensure that it plays its part in mitigating and adapting to climate change and also fighting the scourge of international illicit wildlife trafficking, while focusing also very specifically on cleaning up our oceans and ensuring that our environment is cleaner and greener for generations to come.
The G20's Financial Stability Board has delivered a new plan on how to tackle climate risks today, but paused further policy work amid a retreat by the U.S. that has tested efforts to advance a united financial policy on climate-related risks. The U.S. has withdrawn from multiple groups dedicated to exploring how flooding and wildfires and big climate-related policy shifts could impact financial stability. The media reported last week that U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was set to skip the G20 meeting. This as the U.S. is due to head the G20 group next year. The European Union and South Korea say they are working on trade deals with U.S. President Donald Trump that would soften the blow from looming tariffs as Washington threatens to impose hefty duties from the 1st of August. Trump stepped up his trade war on Saturday, saying he would impose a 30% tariff on most imports from the EU and Mexico from next month, adding to similar warnings for other countries, including Asian economic powerhouses, Japan and South Korea. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett says the country's trade deal offers so far have not satisfied Trump and the tariffs are real without improvements to their proposals. Let's have a look at financial indicators at this hour. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 527 in Botswana 13 pula 20. Kenya, the dollar is at 128 shillings 72. Zambia 23 kwacha 14. BRICS countries, $1 in Brazil is at 5 real 55. Russia 77 rubles 94. India 85 rupee 82. China 71 16. South Africa 17 rand 93. $1 is 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Commodities, gold is at $3,371, platinum at $1,387 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil at $71.37 a barrel. That is all. For any business stories you'd like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za, or you can call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I am Chanduko Ligege.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. For Mandela, life was about making a difference, not just living. This Mandela Day, Channel Africa honors that legacy.
It is for humanity or for society to decide how I should be remembered. I am not a saint unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying.
On Channel Africa,
The African Perspective.
The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
42 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome back to The Upside on Channel Africa with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Matsheko Musito. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. We continue our conversation with Tumi Nkosi. She is the spokesperson for IIE Rosebank College, here to share some red flags and maybe even green flags that you need to look out for when it comes to fraudsters scamming students for international studying opportunities. And Tumi, just before our break, you were giving us some tips on what to look out for, red flags, and then also what we can do to verify if it's a credible institution, yes or no. But I would love to hear your story of almost being scammed so that we can also feel normal, like, it's not just happening to me.
It's actually a funny but sad story, because you would think that with 25 years worth of experience as a software engineer, in work both in education and risk management, somebody like me would be able to pick it up. But that shows the level of sophistication that these scammers are operating at. They use all types of tactics to lure you in. So in my case, I saw a social media advert, and again, just to warn that you find a lot of scammers on social media, because typically you don't go on social media with your guard up. You see your best friend is on there and they know that you are comfortable, so they would come at you on social media as they did with me. It happened about 2 years ago. Now, again, level of sophistication, where I clicked on an ad on social media about this executive education program that looked really, really interesting. It was promising a whole host of experts from major corporations. I'm talking CEOs from some of the big companies, both locally and internationally. I clicked on it, looked at it, and there the issue started, because then they used digital media tactics to keep feeding me this advert, which made me believe, because I see it so often and all the time, I'm creating the perception in my head that it is a legitimate, well-established organization. So lucky for me, I didn't have the money that they were looking for at the time, which was a lot of money. But this year, my husband hit some jackpot and I was ready to register for this particular program. When I clicked on the link again on social media, because they kept feeding me this program, and I thought that it was a legitimate institution, because for 2 years they've been feeding me the advert. I clicked on it and then registered, and just as I was about to pay, something just said, no, just go on Google and search. And the reason why I started feeling that way is because there were two really high-flying executives of big tech companies that were going to be in the same class teaching a particular topic. And my immediate thinking was, what are the chances that these two executives would be available at the same time just to be able to teach silly old me? So I thought, that doesn't sound right. Let me just go and do a Google search. And that is where I found all the complaints that it was a scam, and really high-flying people. I spoke with the chief financial officer from one of the countries in North America who was scammed, and she kept saying, this is a scam, this is what they did to her. So I did not proceed with it, but they had seen that I had reached the advanced stages. So they sent me an email, because I had given them my details short of my credit card details. And they said that they've seen my LinkedIn profile, which they have. This, again, social engineering, talking about things that I talk about on my LinkedIn profile to make it seem as if they know me. And they said that, they look forward to having me on the program, even offered to make me a speaker, right? Because that's what we like at this level. I responded and I said, no, I'm not interested. I do not have money. That's what I said to them. And they offered me installments. And I thought, what are the chances that a US-based company would offer installments? It sounds like a local language, not something from the US. And that is how I was able to avoid that scam. But it could have happened. Everything that I needed to be in place. It's a legitimate organization. They've been around for a long time, because I've seen them for 2 years. They were all there. They were talking the language that I was talking. If it wasn't for just that gut feeling at the time to say, just check it out, 150,000 rand would have been gone and I would have also been scammed. So it happens to everybody. They're very sophisticated.
It really does happen to everybody, Jumi. And, thank you very much for sharing your experience, because that's who they target, right? They target people who seem to know, so that it doesn't look like a scam, that it looks legitimate. You're going to be in the same room with the same people you associate with in the business. So something really, really to be mindful of as you approach post-grad, even, not just for those that are entering the space of student life for the first time. Just a final one for me, Jumi. And just going back to sort of wanting to elaborate on my initial question around Rosebank College and your perspective around how we can safeguard, how we can look for credibility, etc. Talk to us about your institution as an example of how you are, or at least elaborate on how you are making sure that you are, I don't know, what do they call it, online security, and keeping your students secure and sort of at a distance from any kind of scam that uses the name of your institution to scam prospective students, as it were.
That's a very good question. Thank you for that. So IIE Rosebank College is part of a listed company called Advitech, and they've got very stringent cybersecurity measures in place to ensure that our systems not only do not get hacked, but we also operate in ways that are predictable. So, for example, if you don't expect to get an email from IIE Rosebank because you've never really been in touch with us, you are never going to get an email from us. And even if you do, you were interested at one point, and now you no longer are, it's very simple for you to unsubscribe from communications. So first and foremost, we make sure that our cybersecurity measures are in place, and that whatever communication that we send to you is communication that you would be expecting from us, nothing that is unsolicited. And then other things that I think we want to put into place is that even on our website, we give you measures and things to do to go check to make sure that IIE Rosebank College is a legitimate institution. Unfortunately, in South Africa, we deal with the perception that your public universities are much more legitimate than your private institutions. But I would like to inform the public that the Department of Higher Education and Training has done a tremendous job of rooting out the so-called fly-by-nights that were a big problem in South Africa a couple of years back. You are hard-pressed to find fly-by-nights in this day and age, because not only can you quickly check for the status of a college or a university at the likes of Department of Higher Education and Training, as well as the South African Qualifications Authority, but we also put our own credentials on our website so that you can easily check. And then number 3, where we know that our students typically converge, which is on social media, we make sure that, again, we put measures in place to ensure that we are continuously communicating any things that we see that might be a threat, a cybersecurity threat to our students. We inform them of them, what to expect, what sort of behavior and interaction to expect from IIE Rosebank, so that they are aware that if anything other than what we have said is being said to them, then they can quickly give us a call, send us a WhatsApp. So we use those mechanisms to make sure that we secure, and we also make sure that they expect to hear from us, because usually fraudsters will take the opposite direction as to how to engage with you.
It is 9 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African Time. Dumi, I've got one more question for you, and I'll ask it right after we take this break, because I think it's going to throw a little spanner in the works. Don't go anywhere.
This Mandela Month, Channel Africa invites you to walk in the footsteps of a giant. From the prison yard of Robben Island to the halls of the United Nations, Nelson Mandela's legacy reminds us that service, compassion, and justice are the building blocks of real freedom.
En cette journée Mandela, que nos actions fassent écho à son héritage.
Alionyesha dunia ya kwamba sauti moja yaweza kuhamasisha mataifa.
Mandela ensinou-nos que a liberdade não é dada, mas sim conquistada através da coragem e sacrifício.
Join us as we reflect, remember, and reignite the spirit of Madiba across the continent. This is more than a day. It's It's a call to action. Channel Africa, the African perspective. The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
Well, it's 8 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African Time. We are still in conversation with the spokesperson for IIE Rosebank College, Nkosi, here to tell us about what to look out for when it comes to applying online for your kids, to avoid falling victim to scams and fraudsters trying to get your money, as they always are. Dumi, what happens when you do your due diligence and then you read the reviews, and the reviews are not glaringly obvious that this is a scam? In fact, you start seeing positive, glowing reviews about this institution, about this particular platform. And I'll refer maybe on social media, because I understand that some of these fraudsters would actually have people, or even if it is themselves, comment and review good things, 5 out of 5 stars. And then you start to then question, what do I believe? I'm seeing positive comments, but then there are also 1 or 2 here saying it's a scam. Where do I go? How do I go about doing that and verifying that I'm not being scammed in that case?
So unfortunately, there's a level of triangulation that we now have to be familiar with. The first would be to go and check those reviews, and any self-respecting university or college takes reviews quite seriously. For example, at IIE Rosebank College, Hello Peter, we're very active on Hello Peter, not just one comment here and there, but we actively make sure that we not only want people to talk about us in a positive manner, but we also encourage negative reviews. We encourage honesty so that you can get a sense and an element that this is not too good to be true, because you can't have 200 positive reviews over the last 200 days. It just doesn't happen that way. In between there, even the best performing colleges and universities would have some bad reviews. It's how you respond to them. So that's the first corner of the triangle. The second corner of the triangle is that you need to verify information. If you see that you're getting the reviews, but you are still not 100% convinced, if the university is sitting in a particular country, contact the embassy in South Africa in that particular country and find out if that university or college is a legitimate institution. I've already spoken about web searches. I've spoken about cross-checking at the Department of Higher Education and Training. But another source of rich information that our students don't typically look at is their own alma mater. So for undergraduate studies, go to your life orientation teacher, even your headmaster. These people have been studying for a long time. They will be able to point you in the right direction. And if you're in university, you're looking at postgraduate studies, there's a really good office at all universities and self-respecting colleges called the Internationalization Office or the International Office. They would have access not only to scammers that have recently cropped up, but also to places where you will get legitimate information. So that would be the second corner of the triangle. And the third corner of the triangle is that if you've got nowhere else to go, approach the South African Fraud Prevention Service. They keep records of recent scamming activity across all areas, be it in finance, in education, in health, everywhere. They will be able to help you verify information or send you to another place, or even confirm if you are not the first person to report such activity. And if you feel that it is illicit activity, please also report at SAPS, because remember, for every scam that we are aware of, there was a brave person who was brave and kind enough to report that activity so that another person doesn't fall victim to it. So that's how you would triangulate that information. And if after triangulation you are still not convinced, trust your gut and do not proceed with it. Rather, approach those universities yourself and get them to respond to you than respond to an unsolicited offer, which in most cases is almost always too good to be true.
If it's too good to be true, it probably is. It's that simple. And I think, just based on everything you've said to us, Jumi, I think it's just, for me, the takeaway is you've got to be willing to do the work. Okay, nothing is going to fall into your lap. You've really got to do your research. You've got to triple, quadruple check. You've got to ask friends and family and institutions and phone the whole world and make sure that whatever it is that you're about to get yourself into is legitimate. Where can we find a Rosebank College? Perhaps I'm interested in looking at some of your coursework. Where can I go?
IIE Rosebank College has got 8 campuses across South Africa. You can find us in Durban, in Cape Town, in Gqeberha, in Bloemfontein, in Braamfontein, in Pretoria, Polokwane, as well as in Nelspruit. If you have viewers that are located in Accra and West Africa, we are launching a Rosebank International University College that is starting on the 1st of September in Accra. And we also have a School of Business that is launching on the 1st of October, Waterfall School of Business. So that is where you would find us. And I'm also available on social media, or you can contact me at the office in Braamfontein.
Awesome.
Congratulations on your expansion, and thank you so much for your time this afternoon. And we hope that this has been a valuable conversation. It has been for us on air, but we're hoping that for the listeners as well. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Tumi.
Enjoy a good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
The voice of Tumi Nkosi, spokesperson for IIE Rosebank College. You've heard the red flags to look out for now. You must do your due diligence. I tell you what, also on social media, I know we've been talking about the students, accommodations, Airbnbs, lodges, people wanting to spend their hard-earned monies to go on a break. Scammers also target you on social media. I have seen videos of accommodation that looks so beautiful. You know, those cabin in the wood style accommodation, hot tub on the outside. And then you look at the price point, looks too good to be true. Like, only 1,000 Rand a night? Oh, that's amazing. If you take that image and screenshot it and then Google search it or Google image search it, you realize that that property is not even in the location where they have posted it on social media. So do your due diligence on those things as well. If it looks too good to be true, it often is. Stick to that and trust your gut, like Tumi said. Very sad that we still get scammed.
Be very, very careful. Anything that exists online is free game. Okay, so, and I think particularly if you're looking for opportunities to travel, opportunities to study, to upskill yourself, you know, just do the work. Okay, even if you miss the opportunity, even if it was legitimate. But if you have done the work, then you minimize the risk of you falling prey to some of these just horrible online scams. I mean, Tumi could have been scammed 150,000 rands. That's a lot of money in dollars. Lots of money. So just be extra careful. 2 p.m. in Central African time. We've got more coming for you in this hour. But first, let's check in what's happening around the world on the news desk.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Top stories. Asawa, the body of Nigeria's former president, is being flown home from London, and a court in the UK rules on a trafficked newborn baby. Good afternoon, I'm Jolani Tulongwebe. The body of Nigeria's former president Muhammadu Buhari has been flown home to be buried in his hometown in Katsina State. Buhari died in a London clinic yesterday at the age of 82. Katsina State Governor Diko Rada, who is in the British capital with Buhari's family, said he would be buried later today in Douala town. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima is also in London and will accompany Buhari's remains back to Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu is expected to attend the funeral prayer. Tinubu has also declared a 7-day national mourning period in honor of his predecessor. Spokesperson of South Africa's African National Congress, or ANC party, Mahlengi Bengu Mutsiri, says President Cyril Ramaphosa acted with courage by placing Minister of Police Senzo Mchunu on leave of absence. Mutsiri says the ANC is confident a thorough probe will follow after KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi alleged that senior police officials, including Mchunu, had links to criminal syndicates and interfered with police operations. Bengu Mutsiri elaborates.
We are confident that will actually get us to the bottom of this. It's not a one-hit wonder. It's supposed to be a process that enables us to establish if we are safe and also if the institutions that are linked to the police are operating above board, upholding the oath of office that these South Africans that are working there have taken, an oath. So we think that it is it's a responsible decision. The placing of Minister Mkhunu on leave of absence.
Meanwhile, Umkhonto weSizwe Party spokesperson Nhlamulo Ndlela says the president disregarded the allegations made by Mkhwanazi about the involvement of the judiciary in the infiltration of law enforcement agencies by criminal syndicates. Ndlela says the political killings task team disbanded by the police minister Senzo Mkhunu was effective.
If you look at those political killings, there were 612 dockets, 436 arrested and charged, which demonstrates that this political killings task team has been effective. General Mkhwanazi also then says that the judiciary is implicated, but yet the president wants to then involve the judiciary in forming this commission of inquiry. Commission of inquiry which will then supposedly yield reports on an interim basis, ad hoc basis, and then later in 6 months submitted to the speaker. This is a clear indication that this president is, quite honest, a political and more so a constitutional delinquent.
The City of Johannesburg Speaker of Council in South Africa's Gauteng province, Margaret Arnold, has called for the harshest possible punishment for Tiffany Nicole Meek, the mother of 11-year-old Jaden Lee Meek. Meek made her first court appearance at Druiderpoort Magistrates Court for the murder of her son. She is facing charges of murder, defeating the ends of justice and crime and injuria. She is set to appear on Friday for her bail application. Arnold's called for the community to remain calm.
We need this case not to drag long. We need this case to be done very quickly because we now have a perpetrator and she needs to bring out who else was with her. Because I don't think she could have done it alone. Right. But as a community and as a country and as a city, we want to ask, if our kids are not safe with us, who are they safe with? I'd ask the community, let us allow the justice system to take its toll, and we need to have the harshest punishment that there is.
A court in the UK has ruled that a newborn baby allegedly trafficked from Nigeria last year will now be adopted in Britain. The practice of baby farming is well known in West Africa. Nigerian authorities have shut down at least 200 illegal baby factories in the last 5 years. Some contained young girls who'd been kidnapped, raped and forced to give birth repeatedly. The BBC's Sanchia Berg has the story.
On the 6th of July last year, police arrested a Nigerian woman on suspicion of trafficking. She arrived at Gatwick Airport with a baby girl after a month in her home country. The woman lives in the UK with her family. She had told English doctors she was pregnant, but scans and tests before her trip showed that wasn't true. She presented Lee's family court with photos and videos that she said proved she'd given birth. The judge found those had been faked. Phone messages suggested she had bought the baby. The little girl was taken into foster care on arrival in Britain, and a judge has decided she will now be adopted here.
Recapping the top story this hour, the body of Nigeria's former President Muhammadu Buhari has been flown home to be buried in his hometown in Katsina State. Buhari died in a London clinic yesterday at the age of 82. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tulongwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
It is 7 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to the second hour of The Upside on Channel Africa, the African Perspective, with me, Tebohole Kuleni and Matseko Mosito, coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Join us on our social media platforms where we are streaming live at Channel Africa on Facebook, on YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. If you have DSTV, it's 802 OpenView channel 628, and as always, you can download the SABC Plus app so you can take us with you wherever you go. In this hour, Matseko, we've got an interesting conversation. Buying a property, that's a dream. We all want to buy property, own our own houses. But what if you don't qualify for the mortgage, the bond? Apparently, there's now another way of getting property, and that is through installment payments, where you agree on a certain period of time, it must be paid off, and then a massive deposit needs to be put into that kind of transaction in order for it to be approved and it be a viable option. Does that sound like something that would interest you? So as opposed to paying 20, 30 years for a bond, you just go towards the route of installment, a massive payment, and then maybe 5, 6, 7 years, however the agreed period is, and then pay that off.
Look, I think much like you as our listener, I need more information, which is what the segment is going to be all about. We want more information. We want to know what the pros and cons are.
Yeah.
We want to establish what this installment, what does that mean? What does it mean, installment? You know, what are we talking about here? So when we are looking at purchasing property, we also just want to know that this credit provider is credible. And who's going to be a credible service provider or financial service provider, as it were, that's going to offer this service? All those questions are going to be answered in this segment when we look at this very, very important conversation around whether an installment sale is the answer to buying a home without a bond. What does all that mean? It sounds really tempting, but what am I actually getting myself into? So think about it, and let's talk about it after this.
100%.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Anaitwa Daniel Etienne Benson. Huyu alizaliwa mwaka 1997, ilikuwa Mei 14, na anajulikana kitaalamu kabisa kwa jina la muziki BNXN. Haya, ni mwanamuziki huyo, ni mwimbaji kutoka nchini Nigeria, mtunzi wa nyimbo na mtayarishaji wa record label. Ameshirikiana na Rema kwenye wimbo huu. Rema vile vile ni msanii kutoka huko nchini Nigeria.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African Perspective. Every milestone and every triumph, not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices. English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own
African time. Pray for me, Stone Boy, featuring Wyclef John. This is The Upside on Channel Africa, the African perspective, with me, Tebogo Lekuleni, and Matsheko Mosito. We'd love to hear from you this afternoon. Where are you listening to us from? Where are you tuned in from? +27 63 406 9126 is the WhatsApp line. And while you at it, let us know if you've ever heard of this term called installment sales when it comes to property. A new concept for me. I've never heard it before, but let's delve into it.
It sounds interesting. We all know just the pain of finding a home that you love, but you can't really afford the bond that's approved. So there just looks like there are many ways to approach this. There is an arrangement where you can still get the home on an installment sale. I think that is the correct term. So this arrangement allows a buyer to pay for the property in monthly installments over an agreed period, usually with a significant deposit that needs to come up front. Okay. So it can be a useful alternative for those with stable income who don't meet the strict criteria of traditional lenders, especially during tough economic times when banks are less flexible. I think we all know what's happening with the global economy. So listen, where we can find a solution, we will explore. So while not suitable for every situation, installment sales can work well when both buyer and seller are open to negotiation. But I'm not the expert. Deborah's not the expert, but we do have one online. Okay, we have Tricia Limbani, who is a property practitioner, and she's going to explain this idea of installments to get a house. Tricia, thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to Channel Africa.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Okay, I think before we get into the legalities of what is permissible and what is not, when we look at this form of acquiring property, perhaps like start us from scratch, 101, getting or ownership of a property on installment sale. What does that mean in English?
So, in English, right?
In English,
simple,
please.
plain terms.
Yes.
So, acquiring a house using the installment sale agreement is indeed a legal way to actually buy a property. And this is found under the Alienation of Land Act, right? So this method is ideal for individuals who don't qualify for bank finance, and it allows them to pay for a home in monthly installments over a period of time. So what needs to be done to make this agreement valid is that the property must be a residential. Please note, residential property does not apply with commercial.
Okay.
Could be, but not entirely, yeah. And the price must also be the purchase price must be more than 250,000 Rand, right? The buyer must also be able to be in possession of the property while making payments. And I always say, please make sure that there is a contract in place between the buyer and the seller in the presence of a conveyancer or property attorney. Yeah.
Tricia, tell us about the duration, the period for this. I might have missed that. The period for this transaction, this term, is there a limit to it? It can't go beyond a set number of years, so that because if it does, then it's similar to a bond, isn't it?
Yes, true. So there is a 5-year limit. And this is very important because under the Alienation of Land Act, any installment sale must not exceed 5 years. If it does, then the buyer stands to acquire vulnerability, right? You cannot be protected. You will lose the statutory protections that's built into the Act. And the agreement could also be considered as a standard loan agreement, so you're not entirely protected under the Act. So it needs to please stay within the 5-year period.
Okay. How is this different then from just getting a personal loan? If I'm buying a property, let's say, for example, 500,000 Rand is the price point. How different is it from me just going to another credit provider that's credible to say, listen, give me 400,000 Rand, maybe that's what I qualify for. Yeah. And then I ask Uncle Tsepo to give me another 100,000. I've slept together 500,000 and I give it to you. How different is it from getting a personal loan is what I'm trying to get at.
Remember, with personal loans, you have interest rates in place. And also, the installment sale agreement is much more suitable for individuals that cannot get banking finance. And that could be due to debt review, no accounts, or simply property investors that prefer not to go through the banking route. I want to buy cash in 2 installments and I'm done. So that's suitable for people with such preferences and who are under those circumstances of not being able to access banking finance.
It is 19 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. Installment sales in property. New concept for many. If you have any questions for our property practitioner, drop us a WhatsApp. +27 63 406 9126. Or alternatively, drop a comment below on our social media platform at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. We'll continue our conversation with Tricia Limbane, a seasoned property practitioner who's going to walk us through this installment sales if you still have any questions for her. It's 20 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time.
The Midnight Snack, 12 to 3 a.m.
Young couples or young people that are getting married, we often hear of divorces, that they're getting divorced, and it's quite worrying because when we attend these weddings, we want to see these people flourish and celebrate 30-year anniversaries. What do you think is the main challenge that is facing newlyweds?
We say that tell me how you were raised and I'll tell you how you're loved. So when we see people getting married, that's not where the relationship actually starts. The relationship starts with how you were raised, what you were familiar with, because we are attracted to what we are familiar with. If you don't have a background where love was prominent, where love was authentic, it's going to be very difficult for you to manufacture that in later life. So our upbringing has something to do with it.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege. Your afternoons just got even better, fresh and exciting. The Upside, hooking you up with today's news from an African perspective.
21 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. We're still having a conversation about installment sales in property with property practitioner Tricia Limbane. Tricia, let's talk about the seller. Right, we spoke about the buyer. Okay, this is the ideal buyer for such a transaction. But the seller, why would a property owner be willing to accept installments instead of a full upfront payment from a bank through bond and so on and so forth?
Yeah, so you'd get distressed sellers. To be honest, there's an urgent sale. Their property is about to, get repossessed. They aren't able to, carry the load of the bond anymore. And they've listed the house for several months now and there's no interested buyer. So they could opt into that option actually. So just to save your name against a judgment, that would be a preferable route for a seller to go through.
Can you please explain exactly what a Section 20 recordal is? I think in the context of what we're talking about here, because as I understand it, it comes in as some kind of protection for the seller, just in case there is insolvency.
Yeah. So with the Section 20 recordal, this is a legal process that one undergoes when an installment agreement has been compiled. This installment sale agreement is attached to the title deed, right? And this protects the buyer because then the seller won't be able to actually sell the house without your consent or your knowledge. And also, in the event that the seller is insolvent, there is a record of the agreement, so they can't attach that asset to their estate.
Is this the way forward, Tricia? And obviously, I've got a few more questions, but is this the way forward in helping more people have access or get access to the property market? Is this the way we should be approaching it?
I genuinely do recommend it, to be honest. In this day and time, especially after COVID time, there's a lot of distressed buyers, potential buyers. They are in good standing in terms of affordability. They just can't get access to banking finance anymore because of the circumstances they had to face over the period of the COVID period. So it is actually something to look into, and it is the way for more than anything for business people, for property investors, and for those that aren't, of course, able to access banking finance.
Yeah, for freelancers. I think people in artistic spaces, entrepreneurs, you don't always have access to the bank loan. So, yeah, I mean, we're talking a little bit about the pros here. Let's talk a little bit about the cons of, this kind of arrangement. What could get me in hot water here? Should I go this route?
The biggest thing that you're actually able to risk as a buyer, if this is not done in writing, you stand to lose everything. Everything that you've paid for is null and void because you aren't able to prove that you got into such an agreement with a seller. So drafting a contract is very important when it comes to this kind of an always make sure there's a conveyancer involved. If the seller then decides, I don't want any legal people involved in this, envelope vibes, it's not gonna fly. It's not gonna work for you. You won't be able to claim the property in the court of law should anything go wrong. Yeah.
Who owns the property then during this period? Can the buyer obviously live in it? Is it under their name, or until the final payment is made, will the ownership then go over to them as a buyer?
So the buyer can make get occupation of the property. So while they are paying in installments, they can actually live in the place, because then also they'll be able to be liable for rates and levies and all these other, costs that come with the house. So yeah, the buyer can actually take occupation while making the monthly installment payments.
Okay, Tricia, I've listened to this segment now, and I'm getting excited because now it sounds like there's an option for me. Oh my goodness, I can finally buy a house. After such a long time. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the correct steps now. Okay, the financial providers. Who do I go to? Who do I speak to? How can I make this happen in a legitimate manner? Give us some steps.
So I recommend to my potential buyers to go and approach a reputable, credible, registered agent. So if your agent is registered with the PPRA and has a valid FFC certificate, please by all means, go to them. They know how to go about with the negotiation steps. They basically know the processes from A to Z, right? Also, in that, please involve a conveyancer to start with the process. You cannot do anything without our dearly lovely conveyancers. You can't. And then from there, these are the two main people actually that need to be involved, apart from the seller and the buyer.
Can we apply this, Tricia, to not just buying a home or an apartment? Can we apply it to buying land as well?
Yes, you can. Definitely. Okay. That's why I say invest in it. It's a proper way. Don't be skeptical. It's legal.
No. It's exciting. It's exciting. It's exciting.
I'm convinced.
So this also then opens up an opportunity for perhaps someone who does have an existing bond, and they're like, I've got extra cash flow. Maybe I can buy another property. This opens up the way and makes it a lot easier for them to do that.
That's right. Then you don't have to opt in to take a second bond. If you're in good standing, you're able to afford another installment sale agreement repayment plan, please, by all means.
Wow. There are so many ways to do this property thing. And thank you for the information. I guess for those also that are in property investment, if you are looking to kind of refinance the current property, you can take whatever you get, whatever equity you get on the other side, and make this arrangement happen, to suit you as you move forward. Tricia, thank you very much. Where can we contact you if perhaps we're looking for more information, just to guide us along this journey? Where can we find you?
My social media platforms on Instagram is Trisha_Lime, Lime, and TikTok Trisha Lime as well. Facebook Trisha Limbane, Limbane, and LinkedIn I am Patricia Limbane. That's where you can find me.
Tricia, thank you so much for your time this afternoon on The Upside. The voice there of Tricia Limbane, a seasoned property practitioner, just giving us the 411 when it comes to installment sales, which means that in the next 10 years, Matsako, we must have at least like 4 properties through this.
4?
Okay, 5.
5?
Okay, 20.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Including land, guys. The land one is very exciting for
L for land. Listen, because there's all kinds of possibilities there. You can build from scratch. You can build a multi-let. You can really just turn it into whatever you want to turn it into, a large, whatever the case is. So I love that there's options. I think that is the most critical thing right now, is that there are options, and that the economy, as it stands, it's not a great economy. It doesn't matter where you go in the world. But if there are options for people on wherever you are in the food chain, you can acquire a property. I think that's most important at this time. It is 2:30. And we're going to check in with what's happening. What's happening on the sports desk?
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
In our sports update this hour, I tell you what, we will begin with rugby news, where the unbeaten Shakur Stevenson outlasted hard-hitting William Zepeda in a tough back-and-forth battle to retain his World Boxing Council WBC lightweight world title on a unanimous decision. Stevenson, whose crafty defensive style hasn't always found a favor with fans, withstood a relentless assault by the challenger and responded with efficient offense of his own to win comfortably on all 3 judges' cards. 2 scored it 118, 110, and the third saw it 119, 109 for Stevenson, who improved 24 no loss with 11 knockouts. He handed Mexico's Zepeda his first career defeat. A 29-year-old fell to 33-1 with 27 wins inside the distance. The fight was held at the Louis Armstrong Stadium, better known as one of the show courts at the National Tennis Center that hosts the US Open in Flushing Meadows. And in athletics, Noah Lyles beat Olympic champion Litsile Tebogo in the men's 200 meter at the Diamond League meet in Monaco. Botswana's Tebogo won the Olympic 200 meter final last year, with it emerging after the race that Lyles, who came third, had tested positive for COVID. Tebogo went into the race in Monaco having set a world-leading time of 19.76 seconds while he won the 200 meters at the last Diamond meeting in Eugene on the 5th of July. Dutch woman Femke Bol impressed in the 400-meter hurdles with a world-leading 51.95 seconds as she beat Americans Delilah Mohammed, who was second in 52.58, and third place Anna Cockerell, 52.91 seconds. The next Diamond League event will take place in the UK for a sold-out London athletics meet on the 19th of July. The finals will take place in Zurich on the 27th and the 28th of August, just over a fortnight before the start of the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan. In rugby news, the South African rugby team, the Springboks, proved yet again that they are the most dynamic team in world rugby after they beat Italy 45-0 in Gqeberha in the second match of the incoming series. Raisi Erasmus-inspired innovation was on display as the Boks pushed the boundaries of the game. They were reduced to 14 men for 3/4 of the encounter, but were still able to keep Italy scoreless. Now, let's hear from Bok captain Salman Murat, who says it is a performance to be proud of.
It was really amazing to come out to PE and put up a performance like that. I think we can be really pleased for large parts of that game. Obviously, a lot of things to work on, but I thought the team showed real character with a man down.
The Springboks will then move on to Mbombela in South Africa's Mpumalanga province to face Georgia, who are a forward-dominant outfit, just the Boks cup of tea. Former Bok prop Lawrence Sipaka says this might be the perfect time to fully rotate the vast Springbok squad ahead of the Rugby Championship.
He's got a big squad. So maybe to have a look completely before the championship starts what he's got, probably needs to give the other guys who hasn't looked at the chance against Georgia and see what they do. I mean, some of the guys who came on today can have an opportunity to start.
And finally, with MotoGP, Ducati's Marc Marquez of Spain has cemented his place at the top of the driver's standings after winning the German MotoGP at the Sachsenring. His brother Alex finished second once again, with Italy's Francesco Bagnaia also on a Ducati third. Marquez took the checkered flag without too much hassle to win his fourth consecutive crown and go into the second place on the all-time MotoGP winners list with 69 victories. Valentino Rossi still tops the list with 89. South Africa's Brad Binder finished 7th and bagged 9 points for 12th place overall in the standings. Mark tops the standings on 344 points, while Alex is second on 261. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Figidele Ngwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Africa Update on Channel Africa with Lulu Kabu.
The situation in northern Mozambique's Cabo Delgado province continues to deteriorate, with fresh reports revealing a sharp rise in child abductions and mass displacements. What needs to be done to address the root causes of the conflict in your view? And especially just considering that resources are at the center of all of this.
This has now been going on since the end of 2017 in terms of the armed conflict. But the underlying factors have been in play really for generations now in the Mozambican setting, and the socio-economic drivers which have provided space for exploitation by external forces and by radicalized internal elements are really keeping a pilot light under this conflict. And the Mozambican government has struggled both in terms of its hard security response, but also in terms of its soft security and its development response to address the key drivers in play. And so we are likely to see a continuation of this kind of conflict.
Pierce Piju.
Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, 12 to 1 p.m. Central African Time. The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
36 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Standing by now is Chandu Kolikeke with business news.
Business business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Deboho. Good afternoon. The Director General of South Africa's Treasury, Dr. Duncan Pieterse, has told delegates at the G20 Finance Working Group meeting that the virtual talks held last week were constructive. Senior officials from G20 national treasuries and central banks are meeting at Zimbali, near Balito, on the north coast of Durban over the next 2 days. They are laying the groundwork for a meeting by ministers of finance and central bank governors later in the week. Pieterse says one of the issues under discussion is the restructuring of debt globally towards attaining global sustainable development goals.
We'll start this morning session with an update from the Council of Europe Development Bank, the CEB, on the Multilateral Development Bank's monitoring and reporting framework, which is a critical tool for tackling the implementation of the G20 MDB roadmap, as it enables MDBs to assess how they are working better as a system, enhancing their effectiveness and maximizing developmental impact.
Apologies for the sound glitch on that story. Meanwhile, Dr. Pieterse says this working group meeting also includes a pandemic response stimulation.
This will be followed by a pandemic response financing simulation exercise that will be facilitated by the World Bank. And the objective of this exercise is to simulate a coordinated pandemic response financing scenario, enabling participants to explore practical mechanisms for mobilizing and deploying resources rapidly and effectively during a global health emergency.
South African Minister of Small Business Development, Stella Ndabeni, says training more artisans would help the country reduce its importation of goods. She was speaking during the official opening of the Center for Entrepreneurship Rapid Incubator at the Sekhukhune TVET College in Mutetema, Limpopo yesterday. The center was established to foster entrepreneurship. Ndabeni says such centers should produce more skilled artisans to promote the manufacture of goods locally. The EU and South Korea say they are working on trade deals with U.S. President Donald Trump that would soften the blow from looming tariffs as Washington threatens to impose hefty duties from the 1st of August. Trump stepped up his trade war on Saturday, saying he would impose a 30% tariff on most imports from the EU and Mexico from next month, adding to similar warnings for other countries, including Asian economic powerhouses Japan and South Korea. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett says that countries' trade deal offers so far have not satisfied Trump, and the tariffs are real without improvements to their proposals. Mark Zuckerberg is expected to appear as a star witness in the unusual $8 billion trial that kicks off this week, at which the Meta CEO is accused of operating Facebook as an illegal enterprise that allowed users' data to be harvested without their consent. Shareholders of Meta Platforms, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, sued Zuckerberg and other current and former company leaders, saying they continually violated a 2012 agreement between Facebook and the Federal Trade Commission to protect users' data. The case dates back to 2018 after it emerged that data from millions of Facebook users were accessed by Cambridge Analytica, a now defunct political consulting firm that worked for Donald Trump's successful campaign for U.S. president in 2016. Let's now have a look at financial indicators at this hour. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 527. Botswana 13 pula 20. Kenya the dollar is at 128 shillings 72. Zambia 23 kwacha 14. BRICS countries, $1 in Brazil is at 5 real 55. Russia 77 rubles 94. India 85 rupee 82. China 71 16. South Africa 17 rand 93 cents. $1 is 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Commodities, gold is at $3,370. Platinum at $1,380 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil $71.35 a barrel. That is all for now. For any business stories you'd like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za, or you can call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I am Chanduko Ligege.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Je, una jambo lolote akilini mwako? Je, una shauku kuhusu masuala muhimu? Na je, una maoni ambayo unataka yasikike? Kweli, hili jukwaa ni la kwako. Piga simu au tuandikie kwenda WhatsApp namba alama ya kujumulisha 2760552594 na tutakupigia simu.
Mtangazaji wa habari zetu za Afrika Kusini mjini Johannesburg.
Hivyo unaweza kuwa mshirika kwenye matangazo yetu. Sio mazungumzo tu, ni fursa yako ya kuchangia maoni yako na kushirikiana na jumuiya ya wasikilizaji wanaotamani mtazamo wako. Tufuate kwenye mitandao ya kijamii. Tembelea tovuti yetu www.channelafrica.co.za na uwe tayari kushiriki na kuchangia maoni yako kwenye Channel Africa. Channel Africa, mtazamo wa Kiafrika.
This Mandela Month, Channel Africa invites you to walk in the footsteps of a giant. From the prison yard of Robben Island to the halls of the United Nations, Nelson Mandela's legacy reminds us that service, compassion, and justice are the building blocks of real freedom.
En cette journée Mandela, que nos actions fassent écho à son héritage.
Alionyesha dunia ya kwamba sauti moja yaweza kuhamasisha mataifa.
Mandela ensinou-nos que a liberdade não é dada, mas sim conquistada através da coragem e sacrifício.
Join us as we reflect, remember, and reignite the spirit of Madiba across the continent. This is more than a day. It's a call to action. Channel Africa, the African Perspective.
Fire mata, I be go. Fire mata, I go carry go. Fire mata, I go scatter.
Voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa, partner with Channel Africa, because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led, African-run, and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices: English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone, and every triumph. Not just reporting history, but shaping the conversations that define Africa's future. For brands, media planning, and advertisers, Channel Africa is more than just a platform. It's an opportunity. With 25 compelling shows covering current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle, we deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa. Partner with Channel Africa because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than just a broadcaster, Channel Africa is the pulse of the continent, African-led.
La Day featuring Fali Ipupa with Ifa, the title of the song. That one got me on my feet. This one I like. I like this one. I saw you also moving and grooving and pretending that you're not moving and grooving.
Remember there was a time when I was like, when we first heard it, was like, I need to add this to my playlist, and I actually did.
Isn't it like amazing? Brilliant. And when I was new on this program, we were talking about compiling workout playlists. And what is on your workout playlist, whether you're on the treadmill or running outside or whatever it is that you do when you're trying to get physical activity in, what is on your playlist? I think this one is a nice one to add in.
I actually do have oh my goodness, I have a jogging playlist.
I love it. You see, a jogging playlist, a jogger's
playlist, and I have a gym playlist. On my gym playlist, I've got definitely Mikasa is in there.
Of course.
I've got Sanel Musician is in there. Why do I have Drake? What's happening there? Yeah, I've got Drake in there. Pato Ranking, Abu Ricky Rick. I've got quite a few people on my gym playlist.
10 points for you. I love that the majority of the gym playlist is proudly African. So I like that. There's just one oddball, but everyone else is homebrewed, which is wonderful. Feel free to let us know what's on your joggers playlist or your gym playlist, as it were. And also, this is just a way for us to share new artists and new music. You know, you could teach us something. We'd love to hear from you at Channel Africa 1, hashtag The Upside on Twitter.
On Twitter and on TikTok, it's at Channel Africa 1. We're going to take a quick breather. When we get back, it's time for What Caught Your Eye. And if something caught your eye this past weekend, or indeed today even, let us know. +27 63 406 9126. Do you want to guess what I'm going to talk about?
Your weekend?
No. The whole country was talking about it.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, no, stop it.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
What happened yesterday?
With President Ramaphosa?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It doesn't interest you, does it?
Not quite.
All right, we will talk about it. That will be my what caught my eye. Just to, I want to find out from you what you thought about the shall we call it the subject line email that he sent yesterday. There was no need for a family meeting for that one. But what did you think about it? Do you think he handled it properly? Are you happy with the outcome? We'll talk about it right after this. It's 10 minutes to 3 p.m. Central African time. Don't go anywhere. This is The Upside.
This Mandela Month, Channel Africa invites you to walk in the footsteps of a giant. From the prison yard of Robben Island to the halls of the United Nations, Nelson Mandela's legacy reminds us that service, compassion, and justice are the building blocks of real freedom.
En cette journée Mandela, que nos actions fassent écho à son héritage.
Alionyesha dunia ya kwamba sauti moja yaweza kuhamasisha mataifa.
Mandela ensinou-nos que a liberdade não é dada, mas sim conquistada através da coragem e sacrifício.
Join us as we reflect, remember, and reignite the spirit of Madiba across the continent. This is more than a day. It's a call to action. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Call us on +27 63 406 9126.
I can see my whole world changing.
And They contribute to the conversation. Matseko Musito and Tebogo Kuleni on the upside.
All right, it's now time for What Caught Your Eye. Let us know what caught your eye. WhatsApp line is +2763 406 9126. Shall I be a gentleman today and allow you to start and share what caught your eye?
Look, news that has made international headlines is the passing of former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari. And when we trace his history in leadership, we know that he has led the country of Nigeria twice as a military head of state and a democratic president. He passed away, news came out yesterday that he passed away at the age of 82.
Oh.
And there's just, when you're a head of state, and you've been a militant leader, and then you came through and you were, coming through in a democratic republic, as it were, there's going to be mixed reactions to the person that you were, So I've been speaking to Nigerian friends of mine that are based in South Africa. I've been speaking to journalists that I'm acquainted with in Nigeria, and there's just a mixed bag of his legacy, who he was. Others view him as somebody that really brought hope. Others view him as, well, there was nothing democratic there. It was just a big fat ball of tyranny. But what I want to say is that, a life has been lost, somebody that was the president of the country of Nigeria. So the country of Nigeria is in mourning, and those that are, sort of aware of his leadership are also in deep reflection about the man that he was.
What sentiments do you share of his presidency during his time?
Is it safe to share? Is it safe to speak?
Well, it's what caught your eye. It's your opinion, of course, yeah.
Yeah, look, there's a mixed bag. When we think, I'm not going to compare him to any of the other previous president, like President Goodluck Jonathan, for example. But of course, him being part of the class of 1966, and when I think about the bloodiest coup in Africa at that time, I associate his name with that, unfortunately. When I think about just some of the stuff that was happening with the breakaway parties in Nigeria, and the organizations, the Yoruba Nation, IPOB as well, I think of him. So listen, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not living in the country of Nigeria. I fortunately was not affected by what was happening in the 60s, and with him sort of coming off of cabinet as president, and then Bola Ahmed Tinubu taking over. So I don't know a lot about the politics, but the little that I know of what happened in 66, things were happening there. Bloody coups and all.
Let us know if you are from Nigeria and would like to weigh in on this conversation. What legacy did he actually leave behind? +2763 406 9126. I've got two what caught my eyes. The first one is that yesterday was the FIFA Club World Cup final between Chelsea and PSG. Chelsea went on to win this game and be crowned the FIFA World Cup champions. They are the champions of the clubs, basically. 3-0 against PSG. What caught my eye was Donald Trump. There's a video of Donald Trump going to they've now hand over the trophy to Chelsea, and Chelsea is about to lift up the cup, the trophy, and say, "Hey, we are champions! Yeah, celebration." Protocol dictates that let the team get their photo opportunity moment as a team, that they rise up together. Hey, it's gonna go down in history. The FIFA president had just given the trophy over to the captain of Chelsea. Donald Trump is standing right next to the boys or right next to the captain. Now the FIFA president starts walking off the stage and starts indicating to Donald Trump, okay, come, let's go now. Let the boys raise let's go. Not Trump. It's like, I am not going anywhere. In fact, even the other players who started to say, Mr. President, come, you must leave. Just leave, go. Trump is like, I want to celebrate with you, but I want to celebrate with you boys. Now, 3, 2, 1, Chelsea! Who's in that picture? Donald Trump. And that picture will not be retaken. They can't do it again. Donald Trump is going to be part of that image forever and ever. And I'd like to say he did that on purpose. There is no way he did not know that was the protocol, and no way he did not hear the FIFA president and the other people saying to him and the other players saying to him, get off. I think he did that intentionally.
It probably was intentional because he knew that that moment would be a moment not only in time but in history. Like you're saying, he's going to be there for a while. I know nothing about sports, but I will give you this. You are an amazing storyteller.
Oh, wow.
For a second there, I was there in that moment.
You were in the game.
I was in the game. Do you understand? Looking for Donald Trump, wanting to know what the heck he's doing there.
Guys, what did you think of Donald Trump? Do you think he did it intentionally, or was it just one of those moments? Maybe he was nervous. I don't know. Maybe he was like, I'm really nervous. I don't know what to do now. Let me just stand still. What do you think? +27634069126. And then the second what caught my eye is, of course, the family meeting that the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, held for the South Africans yesterday.
That says everything. What happened there? Tell us.
It was in response to the allegations raised by the provincial commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal, General Mkwanase, and he had made quite a few allegations against the, shall we say, the powers of the national security, the police minister, Usenzo Mchunu, and other top officials and ministers saying, hey, there's a relationship here with dodginess and corruption and drug cartel, so on and so forth. So he was responding to this. In a nutshell, he said, okay, I've heard you crying. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the police minister with immediate effect on leave. We're going to establish a commission of inquiry to investigate, and then they are going to make recommendations on what's happened to the people who were involved in these dodgy dealings. I don't know about you, but not so long ago, he removed a deputy minister, the DA deputy minister, for flying another country without informing or without approval from the head of state. This police minister has been implicated on allegations of corruption or so on and so forth. And he's getting leave paid. 3 to 6 months is this commission of inquiry. So taxpayers' money will still go to him. He's not going to have to do anything. He's on leave. So I want to know, did he handle that well? Was that the best option under the circumstances? Public outcry? Did he do well there? That's my question.
That's the question to answer. But we know how it is in politics. Hey, no permanent friends, no permanent enemies.
Ooh.
That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. So
that one.
These things just don't surprise me anymore. I mean, I've become so jaded. It's 3 p.m. We're going to check in with what else is making news around the continent and the globe. Jolane Tulongwepe is standing by with the latest.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Tako. Top stories is Sawa. The body of Nigeria's former President Muhammadu Buhari is being flown home from London, and Air India's chief executive warns against premature conclusions on plane crash. Good afternoon. The body of Nigeria's former President Muhammadu Buhari is being flown home to be buried in his hometown in Katsina State. Buhari died in a London clinic yesterday at the age of 82. Katsina State Governor Diko Rada, who is in the British capital with Buhari's family, said he would be buried later today in Douala town. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima is also in London and will accompany Buhari's remains back to Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to attend the funeral prayer. Tinubu has also declared a 7-day national mourning period in honor of his predecessor. Action SA Party in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province says it does not support President Cyril Ramaphosa's decision to establish a judicial commission of inquiry that will probe allegations of corruption in the police. The commission will investigate allegations related to criminal syndicates' infiltration of institutions in the criminal justice system. This after KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi alleged that senior police officials, including Minister Senzo Mchunu, were corrupt and had links to criminal syndicates and interfered with police operations. Action SA Provincial Chairperson Zwakele Mngwango says commission of inquiries result to wasteful expenditure as they bear no fruit of prosecution.
Commissions have become really a waste of money and resources of the states, where this country is struggling financially and economically. Now, we know that we had Zondo Commission and other commissions, not only Zondo Commission, where really reports were done, and the president, even previous presidents, have received these Commission of Inquiry reports and do nothing about them. So we've been saying this commission is just a waste of money, and the president, instead of acting, and also we believe that criminals must be treated like any other criminals. Why there must be commissions of inquiry?
Ramaphosa's party, the ANC, however, says he acted with courage by placing Minister of Police Senzo Mchunu on leave of absence. Mutsiri says the ANC is confident a thorough probe will follow. Bengu Mutsiri elaborates.
We are confident that that will actually get us to the bottom of this. It's not a one-hit wonder. It's supposed to be a process that enables us to establish if we are safe and also if the institutions that are linked to the police are operating above board, upholding the oath of office that these South Africans that are working there have taken, an oath. So we think that it is an important, it's a responsible decision. The placing of Minister Mchunu on leave of absence.
The City of Johannesburg Speaker of Council in South Africa's Gauteng province, Margaret Arnolds, has called for the harshest possible punishment for Tiffany Nicole Meek, the mother of 11-year-old Jaden Lee Meek. Meek made her first court appearance at a Roodepoort Magistrates Court for the murder of her son. She is facing charges of murder, defeating the ends of justice, and crime and injuria. She is set to appear on Friday for her bail application. Arnolds called for the community to remain calm.
We need this case not to drag long. We need this case to be done very quickly because we now have a perpetrator and she needs to bring out who else was with her. Because I don't think she could have done it alone. Right. But as a community and as a country and as a city, we want to ask, if our kids are not safe with us, who are they safe with? I'd ask the community, let us allow the justice system to take its toll, and we need to have the harshest punishment that there is.
Air India's chief executive has warned against premature conclusions after the publication of a preliminary report into last month's deadly crash in Ahmedabad. Campbell Wilson said there was now greater clarity but also additional questions. The BBC's Electra Naismith has the story.
Air India has come under heightened scrutiny since the crash that killed 270 people. But in a letter to employees, Campbell Wilson cautioned against speculation, rumour and sensational headlines. He said the report had found no mechanical or maintenance issues with the aircraft and there was no evidence of sabotage. It did highlight pilot confusion in the cockpit over the plane's fuel switches cutting off moments after takeoff. But Mr. Campbell urged people to stop drawing premature conclusions. He said the investigation was far from over.
Recapping the top story this hour, the body of Nigeria's former president Muhammadu Buhari is being flown home to be buried in his hometown in Katsina State. Buhari died in a London clinic yesterday at the age of 82. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tulo Wepe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
It is 7 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African Time, the final hour of The Upside on Channel Africa, the African Perspective with Tebohole Kuleni and Matseko Mosito. We are coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Welcome. Good afternoon. Happy Monday. Are you on your way home? Are you still at work? Let's keep you entertained. Let's keep you informed on The Upside. Join us on our social media platform at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. We are streaming live right now on TikTok. Shout out to every single person who's joining us on that platform. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. How cool is it? We are celebrities on TikTok, Matseko.
Listen, we are so popular on TikTok. I'm actually on there right now, just scrolling through some of the comments. And, you know, just several people saying, hey, we're listening. Thank you for the great content from CapTE Media and Communications. Listen, you are most welcome. That is what we're in the business of, really bringing you news and views and opinions that matter from around the African continent. So do give us a follow, Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. We're there, and we're waiting to interact with you.
All right, exciting conversation coming up next. We will be joined by media personality, entrepreneur, an all-round amazing human being. In fact, she said something. What did she say? Something about a boyfriend allowance or something like that? Or it's like a boyfriend allowance must be 500,000. Anyway, I'll check in and make sure that it was her or not. Boiti Tulo is joining us on the line on The Upside this afternoon. We're going to talk all things career, her business ventures, what's next, what we can look out for. If you have any questions for Boiti, send her a question on WhatsApp +27 63 406 9126, or alternatively drop your comments on our TikTok live at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. And she's also a musician. Isn't she like a hip-hop artist?
I think I remember that in her history books, yes.
Multifaceted.
That she was a rapper of sorts. And that kind of took off, hey?
It did. I think there was a song. I just can't remember what song it was. I had it on repeat, personally. I can't remember what was the name. I'll find the song. In fact, she will remind me when we join her or when she joins us live on the air. It's 10 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to the final hour of The Upside.
Ahoy, matey!
Captain here to help, right, boys?
Set sail with us on a digital voyage like no other. Channel Africa has a treasure trove of awesomeness. That is our website and social media pages.
Tell me, why are you here?
We want you to be part of our adventure.
The winds are changing, Captain. And this time...
Imagine a world where curiosity knows no bounds, where entertainment meets enlightenment, and where every click leads to the African perspective. Visit us on our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, or follow us on Instagram or on X at Channel Africa 1. Go on, like us on Facebook at Channel Africa 1. So, spread the word. Tell a friend that Channel Africa's online variety is what they need on the web. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Africa. It's time to plug into the heartbeat of the continent. Tune in to Channel Africa, your go-to radio station that broadcasts in 5 different languages.
L'Afrique du Sud célèbre la journée nationale du
Kabla hujaitwa kwa jina la Double K
or more of our forests have been destroyed.
Partido Africano da Independência da Guiné.
See, Channel Africa represents every corner of this amazing land. From Lagos to Cape Town, Nairobi to Dakar, we've got you covered with the freshest news, music, and cultures. So, turn up the volume, feel the rhythm. And join the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Matseko Mosito and Tebohole Kuleni on The Upside.
it's a demon in my shoes. Picking up my purse has gotten was ugly as my past. Need some cash and I'm mad. What's in that bag?
Hello there, my name is Masako Mosito and I am contributing as co-host on a show called The Upside here on Channel Africa. We are in your company wherever you are on the African region between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. in Central African time.
Hey guys, skillfully here from the Upside team on Channel Africa, the African Perspective. Join us every single weekday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central African time for the ultimate afternoon drive show.
Lifestyle, news, and views and opinions. So catch us on air. I, of course, work with the wonderful people and we are very happy to be here, so join us. Hello there, my name is Masako Mosito and I am contributing as co-host on a show called The Upside here on Channel Africa. We are in your company every hour for the African region between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. in Central African time.
Hey guys, skillfully here from the Upside team on Channel Africa, the African Perspective. Join us every single weekday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central African time for the ultimate afternoon drive show.
Lifestyle, news and views and opinion, most importantly because that matters always. So catch us on air. I, of course, work with the wonderful people from Kuleni and we are very happy to be here, so join us.
With a new purse that's origami. Something Ferragamo, hold up. Activate guard mode, hold up. Never had a barcode, hold up. Never broke guy code, ay. Story of my life, bro. Ay. Came about the style. They were smoking like bro.
Hello there, my name is Masako Mosito and I am contributing as co-host on a show called The Upside here on Channel Africa. We are in your company with the region between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. in Central African time.
African run and deeply rooted in its heritage. It's the only international station that speaks to Africa in its own voices. English, Kiswahili, Chinyanja, French, and Portuguese. The languages that unite 1 billion people. We have been there through every shift, every milestone.
You know, you are one of the most talented human beings on the planet. And I mean that. You're multi-talented, but please don't rap. Don't ever do that in your
That
life.
was not the direction I thought that was taken.
No, that's one thing you should not pursue, my friend. I'm a friend. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh my... Was that? Was that? No, that's the name of the song. Was that by Boiti? Can't believe you said that. That was not bad. Actually, I wasn't even rapping. I was just adding sound effects. There was no rap there.
Let's leave it to professionals like Miss Boiti Tulo and Nasty C.
She's been featured under Forbes 30 under 30s. She's got her own beverage brand called BT Signature. She's a co-founder of Choose Happy Pay, award-winning musician, entrepreneur, media personality. She's worn all the hats. Boiti. You then ask, what's next? Like you are conquering every sphere, every space. But then I also wonder, when you conquer so many, there must be one particular space that still has your heart. Be it music, is it broadcasting, is it the entrepreneurial space? I'd love to find out from Uboiti. What question would you ask her? Well, we're going to have her soon, but we are preparing.
I don't really have a question, really, but it's just a comment around how women are using their talents. And really, I think that actually is your obligation when you're here on earth. Just use your talents. You're probably never going to get through all of them, but you can get through most of them if you pay attention. So Boiti is a fine example of that, of using your influence, your power, your feminine beauty, your intelligence, and just throwing all of that in a pot and making life just a beautiful place. You know, she's built a wonderful career, but she's also built a beautiful life. So I think
I love that.
that's my comment, is how she's just been able to say, okay, I have all this power and this beauty and this intelligence.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh.
You know, I'm not going to sit on it. I'm going to put it out there. And in me showcasing that, I'm also inspiring others to do the same.
I love how you said put it in one pot, all of it, all the talents. It's a paella anyway.
Listen, it's the most delicious, most delectable paella on earth. If you want to use food as an analogy.
I love that. If you have any questions for Boity, she'll be joining us in a couple of minutes' time. Plus 27634069126, or alternatively, go on to our TikTok live at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Interact with us there because we are also engaging. If you drop a comment there, I'm like, hey, hi, thank you for dropping a comment. My name is Debucho and I appreciate you.
Your name it's
Yes.
wow.
So that's how I'm going to respond to you. So just go on to the TikTok live at Channel Africa 1. That's where we will engage with you. It's 19 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Boity joins us up next.
Channel Africa, your voice, your sound, and your home. Stay logged right here. This Mandela Month, Channel Africa invites you to walk in the footsteps of a giant. From the prison yard of Robben Island to the halls of the United Nations, Nelson Mandela's legacy reminds us that service, compassion, and justice are the building blocks of real freedom.
En cette journée Mandela, que nos actions fassent écho à son héritage.
Alionyesha dunia ya kwamba sauti moja yaweza kuhamasisha mataifa.
Mandela ensinou-nos que a liberdade não é dada, mas sim conquistada através da coragem e sacrifício.
Join us as we reflect, remember, and reignite the spirit of Madiba across the continent. This is more than a day. It's a call to action. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine, weekdays 6 till 9.
In recent weeks, East Africa has seen a disturbing rise in human rights violations. In Kenya, digital activist Rose Njeri was arrested under the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act after creating a tool for citizens to oppose the Finance Bill 2025. Meanwhile, in Tanzania, Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi and Ugandan lawyer Agatha Atuhaire reported being detained, tortured, and sexually assaulted by security officers.
East Africa needs a reset. We need to get back East Africa to where the founding fathers are. You know, when President Nyerere and his colleagues, Jomo Kenyatta and the Ugandan counterparts fought for independence. They fought for independence to get Africans out of poverty, to get Africans out of slavery. The leaders who took up power.
25 compelling shows covering...
Neto Agostino, co-leader of the United Green Movement Party.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802.
21 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to The Upside. If you just joined us with me, Tebucho Kuleni and Matsheko Mosito, live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Happy Monday. And thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. What a beautiful day it is in Johannesburg, and we hope that you're having a fantastic time wherever you are. Whether you are driving home, whether you're at work, wrapping things up, we're going to keep you entertained and informed, and we're going to do that by having a conversation with a superstar. A superstar. She's bold, she's brilliant, and she's built a brand that's bigger than borders. From chart-topping rap anthems to boardroom brilliance, Boity Tulo has become a defining voice of African excellence. Whether she's launching beauty lines, pouring up signature beverages, or lighting up our screens and stages, Boity doesn't just follow trends, she sets them. With multiple platinum hits, major brand collaborations, and a powerful entrepreneurial streak, she's showing the world what it means to be a modern African multi-hyphenate. Today on The Upside, we catch up with the unstoppable force herself. Boity Thulo joins us for a conversation of growth, grit, and game-changing moves behind the brand. Good afternoon to you, Boity Thulo, and welcome to The Upside.
Listen,
Jake, that was an insane introduction.
If you ever needed a hype man, look, I'm giving you Deboho. You know, he comes at a very affordable fee. You know, so listen, just book the guy and take him everywhere you go.
I'm willing to pay anything. At this point, I'll pay anything.
Oh,
that was so good.
Listen, 450,000. I think we can start there. I'm joking.
Shade.
I am joking.
It's supposed to be the other way around.
actually,
it is supposed to be the other way around. Boity, thank you so much for your
that way.
Thank you so much for your time. How are you doing on this glorious Monday afternoon?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm actually at the gym. I don't even know why I came to the gym because I had flu, but I managed to, get myself out of bed and try and get a little workout in. But I'm good regardless. I'm good.
Which gym specifically? In which country? Because you travel, so we must ask, which country? Is it South Africa? Where are you?
My vote is my secret. No, I train in Joburg and I haven't traveled yet. I'm trying to figure out if I was training for the South African summer or the Euro summer. So we'll figure it out soon. So yeah, that means if I'm training for Euro summer, I have to leave next week. That's the latest. If not, then it means I'm training for September. Yeah.
Oh, that is spoken like a true traveling queen. We love it for you. Boity, let's talk about your career. I think, you've done justice to so many wonderful things, successfully navigating traditional media, television and music. You've also been in business. What has driven your evolution across the 10 years that you've been doing this work?
Sure. I don't know. It's actually been 15 years now. I feel very old.
15? Oh my goodness.
It's been 15.
Love it for you.
15 long years. But I think for me, it's always just been never being afraid to try something new. That's what I always try and preach. And that's what I try and get across to, especially the young ladies. Never feel like you have to be boxed into one specific thing. I think a lot of times, we're forced to be, to remain in one space. And if we feel like we're celebrated in one space, we're kind of, we feel like we're under pressure to stay in that space just because everyone says this is what you're good at. However, I feel like because we're multifaceted beings, we all have more than one passion. There's no way that there's only one thing that's ever going to move you, ever going to, inspire you, ever going to motivate you. And my thing is to, whatever it is that you feel like is moving you and, is making you feel like this is what I want to try, you should do it by all means, no matter what it is, right? So that when you're 60, 70, 80, you don't look back and you're like, I should have, could have, would have. Just try it. If it fails, it's okay. At least you did it. So for me, that's just been my thing throughout the years. Give it a try, see how it goes. If it fails, it's okay. At least you did it. And if it succeeds, all the better, cherry on top, right? But I just feel like try as many things as possible. Life is short. Life is long and short, but it's more shorter than it is long.
Yeah.
So I would always advise people to just give it a try, whatever it is. No matter how outlandish a try it sounds to anyone else, it's your dream, not theirs. So whatever makes sense to you, just give it a try. And that's what I've been doing throughout these years.
We'll get into more deep conversations about not just grit and building brands. I want to find out what you did today in the gym. Was it leg day today? What was happening?
It was. It was leg day.
Love it.
And it was the worst thing because leg day on a Monday is just diabolical. But my trainer had a vendetta against me. So, yeah.
Give us your program. What does a typical leg day workout look like? How long is it for those who want to replicate it and have Boity legs?
Okay, well, I have a trainer, so luckily I don't have to think for myself when I'm training. That's what helps. I think that's what keeps me consistent, because I feel like there's someone else who's taking the responsibility of what I'm doing, and I just have to follow along. So it makes the process easier. But I usually do train from Monday to Friday. That's what I've been trying to do since the beginning of the year. And leg day, it could be anything from sumo squats to Akitsi, a lot of squats and different machinery and the stepper and the treadmill. So there's a variety of things, but obviously the main focus would be legs for leg day naturally. But it's an hour-long process, and afterwards I spoil myself with 20 to 30 minutes in the sauna, and then that's my day at the gym.
Oh, you literally make everything just sound so fabulous. I mean, you describe something as painful as leg day as, just a few machinery here, I mean, it ain't no thing, and a little sauna here and there. Yes. But I mean, congratulations on just being able to keep the business side of things going, but also making time to take care of yourself and take care of the being that you are, which is very, very important. When we come back, if you can grant us a little bit extra time, we really do want to talk about longevity. There's so many young women that are coming up after you, that are looking at you, that are looking up to you, that are admiring your gorgeous femininity and your intelligence and just the longevity that you've had in the business, having tried different things and been so successful at that. So we want to tap into that. But in just a moment, we're going to cross to the sports desk and check in with File Lengwati. And then we're going to, of course, then cross to economics desk and check in with our good friend, Chandu Goligege, who's going to give us the latest when we look at what's happening on the African continent. Stay with us.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
And in this hour, we begin with athletics. 43 countries have confirmed their participation at the Abu Kuta Prepares to host the third CAA African Under-18, Under-20 Combined Championships from the 16th to the 20th of July 2025. Nigeria, the host nation, fields the largest delegation with 132 participants. South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Uganda have already confirmed their arrival dates. Our correspondent, Tony Ubani, reports.
South Africa is expected to land with one of the largest contingents, comprising 42 male athletes, 40 female athletes, and 18 officials, bringing their total delegation to 100. Kenya, another athletics giant, will be represented by 25 male athletes, 25 female athletes, and 17 officials, making a 67-person delegation. Ethiopia is also bringing a strong team of 30 male athletes, 27 female athletes, and 12 officials, totaling 69. Uganda, known for its rising athletics profile, will participate with 9 male athletes, 13 female athletes, and 6 officials for a total of 28.
And Noah Lyles beat Olympic champion Litsile Tebogo in the men's 200 meter at the Diamond League meet in Monaco. Botswana's Tebogo won the Olympic 200 meter final last year, with it emerging after the race that Lyles, who came third, had tested positive for COVID. Tebogo went into the race in Monaco having set a world-leading time of 19.75 seconds when he won the 200 meter at the last Diamond League meeting in Eugene on the 5th of July. Olympic 100 meter champion Lyles had not raced since a 400 meter run in April and had last competed over 200 meters 338 days previously. Sweden's Armando Duplantis won the men's pole vault with 6.05 meter but missed out in his attempt at adding a centimeter to the world record height of 6.28 meter, while Emmanuel Wanyonyi of Kenya set a world-leading 1 minute 41.44 seconds in the men's 800 meters. The next Diamond League event will take place in the UK for the sold-out London Athletics Meet on the 19th of July. The finals will take place in Zurich on the 27th and the 28th of August, just over a fortnight before the start of the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo in Japan. Now we talk about rugby news, and in Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwe staged a dramatic second half comeback to beat Kenya 29-23 in a bruising Rugby Africa Cup semi-final at the weekend, booking a spot in the final against Namibia and edging closer to 2027 Rugby World Cup qualification. Zimbabwe will face Namibia in the final on the 19th of July with a chance to move a step closer to returning to the Rugby World Cup for the first time since 1991. The Sables trailed 18-13 at halftime, but wrestled back control through disciplined forward play and the precision kicking of Ian Pryor, who landed 2 late penalties to seal the win. Momentum shifted in the second half as Zimbabwe's bench brought renewed energy. Aiden Burnett crashed over after a maul to reclaim the lead, and Pryor extended it with a clinical drop goal and 2 nerveless penalties. Kenya struck back late but could not close the gap as Zimbabwe held on for a second consecutive Rugby Africa Cup final appearance. Some more rugby. The South African rugby team, the Springboks, proved yet again that they are the most dynamic team in world rugby after they beat Italy 45-0 in Gqeberha in the second match of the incoming series. Rassie Erasmus-inspired innovation was on display as the Boks pushed the boundaries of the game. They were reduced to 14 men for 3 quarters of the encounter, but were still able to keep Italy scoreless. Bok captain Salman Murad says it is a performance to be proud of.
It was really amazing to come out to PE and put up a performance like that. I think we can be really pleased for large parts of that game. Obviously, a lot of things to work on, but I thought the team showed real character with a man down.
And finally, with boxing news, unbeaten Shakur Stevenson outlasted hard-hitting William Zepeda in a tough back-and-forth battle to retain his WBC, World Boxing Council lightweight world title on a unanimous decision. Stevenson, whose crafty defensive style hasn't always found favor with fans, withstood a relentless assault by the challenger and responded with efficient offense of his own to win comfortably on all 3 judges' cards. The fight was held at the Louis Armstrong Stadium, better known as one of the show courts at the National Tennis Center that hosts the US Open in Flushing Meadows. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Figile Ngwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Africa, meet Abedi.
Yeah, that's me.
Abedi is a music lover through and through.
I really love African music.
He's got a taste for all kinds of tunes and spends his days listening to Channel Africa. Guess what? He didn't know.
Okay.
Channel Africa wants to help Abedi and all music lovers everywhere to discover even more incredible music. That is why Channel Africa is calling on all African musicians to submit their music. Musicians, remember to give us all your relevant information. Make your submissions at music@channelafrica.co.za. Submissions are your chance to be heard on radio. But sadly, they do not guarantee that you'll be playlisted. All submissions will be carefully reviewed to see if they meet our station's requirement. Channel Africa, the African perspective. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
It's 36 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. And for the very last time on the upside this afternoon, let's head on over to Chanduko Likeke with business news.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Deboho, and good afternoon. The Director General of South Africa's Treasury, Dr. Duncan Pieterse, has told delegates at the G20 Finance Working Group meeting that the virtual talks held last week were constructive. Senior officials from G20 national treasuries and central banks are meeting at Zimbali, near Balito on the north coast of Durban over the next 2 days. They are laying the groundwork for a meeting by ministers of finance and central bank governors later in the week. Pieterse says one of the issues under discussion is the restructuring of debt globally towards attaining global sustainable development goals.
We'll start this morning session with an update from the Council of Europe Development Bank, the CEB, on the Multilateral Development Bank's monitoring and reporting framework, which is a critical tool for tackling the implementation of the G20 MDB roadmap, as it enables MDBs to assess how they are working better as a system, enhancing their effectiveness and maximizing developmental impact.
Dr. Peterse says this working group meeting also includes a pandemic response simulation.
This will be followed by a pandemic response financing simulation exercise that will be facilitated by the World Bank. And the objective of this exercise is to simulate a coordinated pandemic response financing scenario, enabling participants to explore practical mechanisms for mobilizing and deploying resources rapidly and effectively during a global health emergency.
South African Minister of Small Business Development, Stella Ndabeni, says training more artisans would help the country reduce its importation of goods. She was speaking during the official opening of the Center for Entrepreneurship Rapid Incubator at the Sekhukhune TVET College in Mutedema, Limpopo, yesterday. The center was established to foster entrepreneurship. Ndabeni says such centers should produce more skilled artisans to promote the manufacture of goods locally. South African Social Security Agency Chief Executive Officer Themba Matlou says the agency is intensifying targeted reviews of social grant beneficiaries whose financial circumstances may have changed, potentially rendering them ineligible for support. Speaking during a media briefing earlier in Pretoria, Matlou emphasized that these reviews aim to verify undisclosed income sources flagged through collaboration with credit bureaus, ensuring that social grants are directed only to those who truly qualify. He acknowledged ongoing payment delays for affected beneficiaries who are required to visit local offices to update their details and confirm their eligibility, underscoring SASSA's commitment to combating fraud and safeguarding the integrity of the social security system.
In April 2025, the South African Social Security Agency announced its plan for reviews during the 2025-26 financial year. These are targeted reviews to ascertain the eligibility of beneficiaries for whom we have obtained information that their circumstances have changed and as a result may no longer qualify for a social grant. It is also important to clarify that SASSA conducts regular reviews as required by Regulation 30 of Social Assistance Act.
Trade ministers from the EU are meeting in Brussels to discuss relations with the US following President Donald Trump's threat to impose 30% tariffs against the bloc. The EU Trade Commissioner Maros Sefcovic says the proposed levy will practically eliminate trade between the EU and America.
Practically, it prohibits the trade. So if you're talking about 30% or 30% plus, there will be a huge impact on trade. It will be almost impossible to continue the trading as we are used in a transatlantic relationship. And if you look at the impact this would have, the transatlantic supply chains would be heavily affected on the both sides of Atlantic.
$1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 527, Botswana 13 pula 20, Kenya the dollar is at 128 shillings 72, Zambia 23 kwacha 14, BRICS countries $1 in Brazil is at 5 real 55, Russia 77 rubles 94, India 85 rupee 82, China 71.16, South Africa 17 rand 93 cents. $1 is 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Commodities: gold is at $3,352, platinum at $1,369 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil at $71.29 a barrel. That is all for now. For any business stories you'd like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za, or you can call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I am Chanduko Ligege.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Are you fluent in French, Chinyanja, Portuguese, and Kiswahili? Are you passionate about radio? And are you looking to work in South Africa? Do you have papers that qualify you to work in South Africa? In that case, we might have an opportunity for you to work for Channel Africa. Send us your CV and demo at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Remember, if you don't hear from us within 14 days, it means you have not made it or you have not been selected. Channel Africa, the African perspective. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
Thank you very much for your patience and grace, and thanks for staying with us on The Upside with Tebogo and Matsako, with you until 4 p.m. in Central African Time as we broadcast throughout the African region and abroad. Still in conversation with Boeti Tulo, who is just the queen of everything, okay, an entrepreneur, a musician, a media personality, and she's also just inspiring so many other young women who are looking up to her and want to do similar work. So she joins us on the line. We're just having a really fun conversation post her workout to find out what she's been up to, you know, any travel engagements coming through, any business endeavors that she's busy with that she'd like to fill us in on. Boeti, thank you very much for holding the line for us. Welcome back.
A pleasure, no problem.
Thank you. I want to talk about, I mean, a lot of us, you know, I think especially when we go on your Instagram, everything is just so wow. You are just like a gift that keeps on giving. So gorgeous, so successful. And there's the public-facing Boeti Tulo, right, that we see every day. Mm-hmm. But talk to us about what happens behind the scenes. You know, building a brand, maintaining a brand over 15 years, reinventing oneself over that period of time is not easy. So talk to us about the building and maintaining part of this aspect.
Yeah, I think obviously with social media, I think by now we know that everything is always polished and everything is, it's always meant to look the best, right? So I think by now I'm hoping that people have kind of learned the fact that nothing is as pristine and as wonderful and as perfect as it looks on social media. Everyone puts their best foot forward on social media. So it's always important to not fall into the trap of feeling like, your peers are ahead of you or everyone else's life looks perfect, etc. Everyone just puts their best foot forward on social media. And the same way you go through your issues and the things that trouble you, people are going through the same things. It's just that not everyone actually shares the behind the scenes. So for me, it's a lot of teamwork, right? It's never a one-man show, and that's what I've learned throughout the years. It's always finding people who are willing to genuinely, loyally, and authentically collaborate with you. And it's also important to work with people that you kind of understand on not just on a surface level, but also emotionally, spiritually, mentally, right? It should be people that understand you in every way, so that when you walk your journey, they understand your path and they understand where you're going, why you're going there, and they're willing to assist you authentically and genuinely. And it takes time to find those kind of people. And there's a lot of trial and error. And I've gone through that many, many, many times throughout the years of, finding the right team, finding the right people, having fallouts, etc. But I think at the core of it, it truly is a journey of collaboration, a journey of working with people. You can try and do it on your own, but it's not as easy. You'll always need assistance with someone who knows a little bit better than you and someone who is willing to, to assist you in spaces that you might not be well versed in. So I think that's what's helped me throughout the years. It's always just reaching out to people and being like, look, I'm trying to do this. How can I do it? How can I be better at this? And how would you advise me to do it better? So collaboration and teamwork, just finding the right people, but honest people and people who are authentically there for you, because also along the way you will find a lot of vultures and energy siphoners and people who are there for their own purpose, not yours. Right. So and family, of course, family and good friends and people who will always be there to ground you and to return you to yourself all the time whenever you feel like you are losing track, you always have to have like that, that North Star that brings you back to who you are.
I love that. Wise words there from Uboiti. If you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go as a team, go together.
Totally.
Right?
For sure.
Boiti, you wear so many hats, right? We mentioned entrepreneur, musician, broadcaster, etc., etc.
Broadcaster?
Yeah, you used to be a broadcaster once upon a time.
That's true. I forgot.
You forgot. Wow. I was actually going to ask. Which hat resonates with you the most right now at this stage in your life?
I think the one space that I have been in that has made me feel my best self and where I felt my most authentic has been my music journey. That's been like the one part where I can say, if I had never expressed myself in any other way, this has been the best and most honest way that I've received the channel where I can actually be myself completely.
Wow.
And have full reign on how I express myself, what I want to say, how I want to say it, and have people take it, like accept it as is. I think the difference with things like television or with acting, etc. Obviously, most of it is highly scripted, and you have to follow specific rules, etc. for whatever the broadcasting space is. But I think with music, you get to authentically and truly tell your story the way you want to tell it, and no one gets to fix it for you. People just take it as is. So I feel like that's been like the one space where I felt I've expressed myself the most authentically, and it's been the most fun. So yeah, at the moment, that's been the one space where I'm like, I had the most fun throughout the 15 years of all the things that I've done. Yeah.
All right. Sounds incredible. Boiti, what do you see for the next chapter for you? Because, we see that the entertainment space has changed quite a bit, there's more room for collaboration. Posting on social media and promoting yourself on social media has become just such a gift, So with where you are taking the Boiti brand going forward, what do you see unfold for your future?
So this is a new conversation that I've been having, I think for the past few months, where I feel like I have also reached that new phase and a new step that I'm moving towards. And it's very interesting because with me, it never feels planned, but I feel like it's always something that bubbles under for a few years until it catches on to me. And then I'm like, aha, I've found the next thing. And surprisingly, the next phase of my life, I would love to shift into a merging of interior designing and philanthropy. And I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out. But that's the space that, excuse me, that's the space I'm trying to shift into. And I think interior designing is something I've been speaking about for a couple of years, but I think the bug has finally bitten. And this will be the next phase of my journey, of my life, of 35-year-old Boiti. And and my team and I are trying to figure out how do we get to make this a reality without losing who I've been, but also merging into the new phase of where I'm trying to go with my life and with growing up and just becoming older, etc. So yeah, interior designing and philanthropy. We'll figure out how, but I think it's going to be fun.
I love that. You are just such a free spirit, you go with the flow. Let's see how it goes. You really just want to reach the highest expression of who you are. Congratulations, 100%. Man.
Yeah.
100%.
There's no other way. I think that's the only way you can do it. And why not? The question is always why not?
Yeah.
If it's something that feels like you're called to do, you shouldn't question it. You should just go for it and see why you were called for it. And you know what? I might be assuming that right now it's interior designing, but who knows? While I follow this path, it might lead me to something else where I'm like, oh, that's where I was actually meant to go, but I had to utilize this path first. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited for it, and I know it sounds very out there and very far-fetched, but things always work out somehow, and I'm crossing fingers that this part does too.
And listen, we are excited for you and with you. We're going to wrap up the conversation in a moment. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to play a game of Would You Rather with Boiti.
Have you been struggling to find Channel Africa?
Oh yes, where can I find you guys?
Well, you are in luck.
Warning, radioactive zone detected.
Listen to the African perspective on our brand new SABC Plus app. Download the fresh and easy to use app from sabcplus.com or the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Or just command your phone to find SABC Plus on your phone and check out all this good stuff. And that's where you will find Channel Africa, the African perspective. Oh yes, this is fresh and easy. The Upside. On The Upside, your voice matters.
Let's play a quick game with Boiti Tulo. It's called Which Would You Rather? Boiti, I'm going to share some Which Would You Rather statements, and you just have to tell me which one you would prefer, this or that. Are you ready to go?
All right, let's go.
Would you rather lose your voice for a week or your Wi-Fi for a week?
Wi-Fi.
Would you rather go makeup free for a month or social media free for a month?
Social media.
Be stuck in a studio with Nasty C or in a boardroom with Bonang?
That's a hard one. I'll go with my girl B. A boardroom with B, for sure.
Would you rather wear the same outfit for a month or only eat the same meal for a month?
I feel like with my training, I'm doing the same meal thing anyway, so I'll choose the same meal for a month.
And then finally, would you rather have chart-topping albums forever or award-winning businesses forever?
Award-winning businesses forever. Forever. I'm putting it out there into the universe, actually.
I love that. Boiti, you've been such a sport. Can we expect new music coming up soon? You said music is your love language right now. Any projects you're working on?
Not as yet. I have a few singles. I did something with MT not so long ago, and he's been pushing me for me to release that. So that could be something that could be coming out. But yeah, for now, the music has slowed down a little bit. You guys know me. I have my on and off days with things. So the music has slowed down a little bit. But yeah, there's still a few singles that I have in my pocket. And when the time comes, I'll release them. For now, it's winter. We must stay indoors and relax.
Boiti, thank you so much for giving us so much of your time. I really appreciate it. It was wonderful to see you and to meet you virtually. And we're going to be following you. I cannot believe you are at almost 7 million on Instagram. Like, mind blowing.
Is it 7 million? It's not.
It's literally 2 seconds away from being 7 million followers. Yeah.
6.4 is far from
Is it 6.4? It looks like 6.8 the other day. But listen, you are well on your way there. You are well on your way there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Boiti Tulo. Just such a personable human being, easy to talk to, easy to engage with. And she's got the whole world following her, but she's still so grounded. And I think that's got a lot to do with her mum.
100%.
And her mum, Mudiri Tulo, is like the biggest cheerleader of her daughter, the biggest supporter, the biggest spiritual advisor, which is wonderful. So, and she did mention friends and family being such an important part of this journey.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And she is an absolute, the epitome of that saying. And I love it for her brand. I love it for her. May she continue to shine brighter and brighter and brighter like a diamond. And we can't wait to see what's next for Boiti Tulo. If you have any, not even questions, you just want to remark and say, hey, shout out, I enjoyed that interview, let us know on TikTok at Channel Africa 1. We're currently live. Or alternatively, send us a WhatsApp, +27 63 406 9126. It's 3 minutes before 4 p.m. Central African time. Let's get some music before we have to hand over to the Queen of Africa in business.
Current affairs, sports, business, music, and lifestyle. We deliver an engaging Pan-African audience ready to connect, invest, and act. Multi-award winning, internationally recognized, digitally accessible across the globe. When Africa speaks, the world listens, and Channel Africa makes sure of it. For business, for culture, for Africa. Partner with Channel Africa because Africa's voice is the future. Africa is a story, a living, breathing, ever-evolving masterpiece. And for over 5 decades now, one voice has told it like no other. Channel Africa. More than
Genke.
Not Mkenge.
I was about to say Mkenge.
The title of the song.
Yo. Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't hear properly.
Oh my goodness, it's like Buju with Mkenge. No, Buju doesn't have Mkenge. Buju coming through with a song titled Kenkele, featuring One Day Call on that one.
But hang on. Oh, by the way, very good afternoon to
Good
all
afternoon,
of you.
good afternoon, Tabi.
And maybe I think we need to clarify this. Somebody might be listening in Angola somewhere and they're saying, what's Nkenge?
Yes,
Why?
what is that?
Yes. Tell them, what's Nkenge in isiZulu?
It was actually running my mind because I don't remember the English term for like cracked heels.
Cracked heels, but that's really skanky looking.
Yep. Very bad, like the painful kind.
Yeah, yes, that's umkenge. We call
That's
it
what
umkenge
umkenge
in isiZulu.
Yes.
So no, it's not umkenge.
No, it's kenkele. Okay, Tami Ngubeni standing by just after the 4 p.m. news bulletin with Africa in Business.
And maybe before we even get into that, what is umkenge in your language?
Actually,
maybe you can just
Kiswahili.
In Kiswahili, what is
of the
umkenge?
kingdom?
Those cracked heels that really just
French.
And in French, what is it? You can send your emails to the Upside on what do you call this thing? Instagram,
and
X and
Twitter.
Twitter. Let us know what are cracked heels in your native language, whatever it may be. All right, back to the business of the day.
Yes, what's coming up?
It's not about Tumkenge, but it is about fuel protests that are currently taking place in Angola, and this is largely around the rising price of fuel and transportation. So Angolan citizens have taken to the streets. We're also going to focus on Zambia. Donald Trump has announced that there's going to be a further 50% tariff on any copper imports into the United States. Now, we know that Zambia is very big on copper. They're not going to take this lying down. They are going to make a petition for the United States to grant them an exemption on this. How is this 50% tariff going to impact them, especially huge developments that are currently underway, like the construction of the Lobito corridor? How is this tariff going to impact that particular construction? And then also in Botswana, they're going to allow the pula, which is their currency, to depreciate by 2.76%. And we're going to find out why. Why is this a decision that the government of Botswana has actually made? They do review their currency on an annual basis.
Thank you so much for tuning into The Upside this afternoon. To the whole team, let's do this again tomorrow, same time, same place. For now, though, African Business is coming up next.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Top story is this hour. Nigeria's former president to be buried tomorrow, and former Israel Prime Minister speaks on plans to relocate Palestinians. Good afternoon. I'm Jolani Tulongwebe. The burial of Nigeria's former President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to take place tomorrow. Buhari's body is being flown home. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima is to accompany